going on, people out in YouTube land? Hope everybody is doing well tonight. Quick update. Coach had some personal stuff come up tonight. So we had to reschedule the guys on Twitter. So we were just going to cancel tonight altogether. But I was like, I'll go ahead and do a members pop-in stream. I'm sure a lot of you guys are wanting to come on and voice your opinions and stuff of the Kenobi show, and I'm sure give me some pushback, which is completely fine. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and keep the show going tonight. I let the other guys know that we were going to reschedule, and that we would let them know. So we're going to go ahead and do pop-ins, and I'm going to go ahead and post the link for Jedi Masters and Grandmasters first on the community page on the channel. So you guys should see that popping up here in just a minute. Hope everyone is doing well. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. Let's see here. Jedi Master hire post. And once we get through Jedi Masters, Grandmasters, we'll go ahead and go Jedi Knights and Padawans and give you guys a chance to bounce in here as well. Before I bring anybody in, though, there's something I want to address from last night's stream. And I always feel like I have to repeat myself. It's like I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again, and it just doesn't click with everybody, or we get new people in here that haven't heard me say it. So I'm sure those of you who have been here for a long time have heard me say this before, but I'm going to go ahead and address it again. My opinions are my own. Nobody should be taking what I say personally as an attack on them. We can all be adults here in this space. So anything I say or anybody else has to say is just their own opinions and shouldn't be taken personally. And we should learn just to respect each other's thoughts and opinions, whether we agree or disagree. That's what we try to strive and do here at Echo Base Network. There's a lot of people that don't agree with me, and I'm completely okay with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people, other content creators, and even people in our own fellowship here at Echo Base Network that I don't agree with. Guess what? I still like it, everybody. It's not anything personal. This is just entertainment. We just do this for fun. So again, guys, any of my comments I make, don't take it personally. Just agree to disagree at the end of the day. But anyways, the link for the stream for Jedi Masters and Grandmasters is in the YouTube community section on YouTube for anybody that wants to jump in. We got the final episode of Kenobi coming out this week. Me and Coach will be hitting that. We're going to try to do our Masters meeting that night also, but with everything that's going on with Coach right now, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. We were planning on it. He told me to schedule it for Tuesday, but after today, I don't know if that's going to change. It's just part of being, a part-time YouTuber. So, I have not had any Masters or Grandmasters jump in yet. So guess what, guys? Guess what? We're gonna do something different. I always give our master members first shot at jumping in, but I'm gonna go ahead and post the link in chat and open it up to anybody that wants to come in and discuss Kenobi, the show so far, expectations of the final episode this week, or anything else that's going on in entertainment. Me and Coach are going to try to do after this final Kenobi drops. We're going to try to get back started on Deep Space Nine Season 2, which will be a lot of fun. So we're going to try to do that. Like we said last night, we're going to move Season 2 and all the remaining Deep Space Nine reaction videos and stuff over onto the main channel here instead of Echo Base TV. So they'll all start showing up over here. And then we'll go ahead and keep Season 1 over there. So if you guys aren't subscribed to Season 1 and you guys want to jump over there, feel free. All right, we got our first guest of the evening. Maria, how's it going?
Hi, Nick. How are you?
I am doing great. How you doing?
Doing good. How's the Echo Base family doing?
It's doing good. Things are going good. Things are going good. I'm just trying to fix the background since it's just me and you here. Now you're like the guest host tonight.
Oh, wow.
Until other people start jumping in, then I'll take the little borders and stuff away.
That's fine. That's fine. I thought I would encourage everybody to come in, and hate to see you lonely in here. So
it's all good. Even if nobody jumped in, I would probably just go off camera and just start engaging the chat and playing a video game or something. I mean, I literally have nothing else to do. I'm on call this weekend with work, so I'm stuck here all weekend. So I haven't been able to go anywhere or do anything. So, and we got Mama Bear.
Yes. Hi, Mama Bear.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sure can. Yep.
Whoa. Laptop computer.
Yay.
You got it all set up thanks to Ted, the old Star Wars nerd.
Yes, indeed.
Yep. So how you doing, Mama Bear?
I'm doing fine. And you and I were having aggressive negotiations yesterday.
and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Somebody said I wanted to do something to you, and I aggressively told them no.
Oh, like kill me or something?
Well, worse than that, but we won't go into that.
So Maria, were you here for the stream last night?
I was not. I have been so busy with casting and all the good stuff with the fan film. So I've not had any time to catch up with our Echo Base family or any of our other streamers that we love dearly. So,
well, Coach told me to take the gloves off last night, and I did.
Oh,
he said he didn't lay a hand on me.
He said, "Look, man, tonight I want you to take the gloves off on Kenobi." I was like, "You sure?" There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be pissed off. He was like, "Do it," and I was like, "All right." So I ranted a little bit last night.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Mm-hmm.
I sit about 3/4 of the way. I can't say I'm 50-50. I do like a lot of the themes and the storyline, but then there are some others that I'm just like,
yeah,
right. And I'm not necessarily excited about episode 6, and that may be contrary to my usual self.
Yeah, and if the leaks are true, well, it's weird because we got the leaks, and so far all the leaks have been true so far. Not saying they're going to be true on the final episode, but so far it's lining up to be that way, especially with the way episode 5 ended. But then we got rumors that they are re-editing the final episode and changing the ending. So, who knows what's going to happen at this point. So,
yeah, I'm not too thrilled about Reva still being alive.
Yeah, I know. That was one of the things that I was so there was two main points out of my list of issues that I have with the show. All the other issues that I brought up, I basically was like, these are just, a lot of these are in my own head canon. They're debatable, on these. But the two that I would not budge on was Reva being stabbed twice and still being alive, which I think is there's no defending that whatsoever.
I agree with that.
And two, Leia being with Obi-Wan with everybody calling him Obi-Wan around her, because if you look at the OT, you know, she clearly didn't know him, and after she died, she wasn't even upset about it. Now I saw Mama Bear's kind of push back on that with, you know, she wasn't upset when Alderaan got destroyed and her family got destroyed, but we don't see her after that. After that, we don't see her again until Luke comes in there and rescues her. So the movie really doesn't show either way, but she was literally right there. And we see her immediately after Obi-Wan dies. So
there was 10 years between there too. You have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, I have to say, it is not beyond reason that Leia would have known about Obi-Wan, or at least known about him, maybe not known him personally.
Yeah, she clearly knew of him, but know him personally, so I just never got that.
It would not, you know, it would not be beyond reason for her to know him. I mean, you
turn
never
my
know.
light down a bit. I'll be right back.
Sure thing. You never know. Bail might have taken Leia to see him even previous to this series. Because it was obvious he had a comms unit directly linked to Bail Organa.
Yeah,
that's obvious. I mean, that's in front of us, is actually in a scene. So it wouldn't be completely beyond belief that Leia would have known Obi-Wan prior. I will disagree with you on that, but they seem to have, I will say that they seem to, on the series, they seem to have a much closer relationship than I would have liked. But it's not beyond belief that they would know each other. I can swallow that, but I just can't swallow a human being stabbed twice through the torso. I'll give you the pass of maybe one. You know, she might have been found. We clearly have had force healing in the universe before, even Ben Kenobi. The way that I see it, Ben Kenobi also had force healing powers, and he kind of used that with Luke in A New Hope. So it's not beyond belief that somebody might have found her and like healed her when she was a child. But how do you excuse now? That? And I think it would have been a much bigger impact to the story if she would have died. I might have actually liked her better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was cheering for Vader to chop her head off like Dooku when he had both lightsabers. But he stabbed her, and I was like, well, that's it. Reva's dead. I guess the leaks are not true. She's not going to be standing over Luke. And then we see her crawling around, and I was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. She's still alive?
Yeah. What really couldn't pass through is that Vader would leave her alive. I think that would be, I mean, she tried to kill him.
Yeah.
So the Vader we know would have just sliced her in half. Absolutely would have Dooku'd her right then and there. I mean, Anakin did that. So it wouldn't be beyond belief that Vader would do that, right? So I really expected that. Like that moment where he had those two sabers, I thought he was going to Dooku her.
Yeah.
I did too.
So what are your thoughts, Mama Bear, on all that?
You know where I stand. I'm enjoying the show. Is it perfect? Well, hell no. But it's answering questions that I have. And like I said, there's still 10 years that we are not going to see unless they go for season 2. I don't know if they will or not. But I have something to say. I don't know. Can I go off topic for a minute?
Yeah, that's fine.
So most people know that I work in a movie theater. So it's very interesting about Buzz Lightyear. Okay. My youngest son and my husband went to see Top Gun today for his Father's Day. And I had bought
Father's Day movie.
Yes. And previously I got the tickets for them. So I was looking at the movies. The movie they went to for Top Gun was sold out, and that was at 4:00 in the afternoon. Okay. So I just was curious and I looked through every Top Gun movie that played today was either at capacity or near capacity. Now, this is almost a month.
Wow.
Okay.
Yep.
Then Jurassic Park was about 75% capacity all day long.
Yep.
Buzz Lightyear, the first 3 movies were decent crowds. After that, handfuls of people in the theaters all the way down till the end of the night.
Yep.
Not
That
surprised.
tells you something.
I'm
that
not
movie
surprised.
is a big fat 0.
And that's got to be the first for Pixar. Pixar
Oh, I'm
normally
sure.
knocks it out of the park, right?
Yeah,
Like
I think Cars 2 was their worst performing movie.
Yeah.
Well,
You
this
know
is
what
going
it
to beat it.
Right. I really think, okay, so speaking on Lightyear, I really think what it is that they set that movie up with a very adult storyline.
They did.
And you know, you're going to take your kids to see this and it's not going to land well with children.
Yeah.
I went to see the movie just to see what it was going to be like. Personally, the movie I saw, now somebody else tell me if you saw it. The movie I saw did not have the kiss in it, but boy, they sure made it known that they were a gay couple. And I don't have anything against people leading their lives the way they want, but to push it as an agenda in a child's movie is a different thing.
Absolutely.
I would agree.
I would definitely agree with that.
But they didn't have it there. But like I said,
I heard Disney edited it out after the backlash.
Well, they had it out. They put it back in. They must have taken it out again. It was not in the movie I saw.
Yeah, because it was they banned it in several countries.
14.
Yeah,
14 countries.
So that was probably one of the reasons that they edited it out. But I still think even with them editing that out, because from what I've heard, and I haven't seen the movie, you might be able to tell me, Debbie, I heard the movie is more based on the gay couple relationship more than Buzz Lightyear, and he's more of like a side character in the movie.
That was, I would say, the first 35 minutes. That is the truth. After that, to me, it's the kids would not in my estimation, kids under the age of 10, unless they're being taught differently, would not understand the rest of that being in the film.
Yeah.
It was the bad guy going after the good guy. And I don't want to spoil the end.
Yeah.
Anything. If people haven't seen it and are going to go see it, but the bad guy was a total surprise.
Yeah.
The bad guy was a total surprise, and it was awful.
Again, I just think that movie was really, like, story-wise, was really written as an adult film, like sci-fi film.
Yeah.
And it had no business taking Toy Stories, like the Toy Story franchise.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, guys. I'm on call this week, and I just got a call. I got to make a work call real quick, so I'm going to mute. But talk amongst yourselves. Engage with the chat. I will be back ASAP. It should not take me long.
Will do, Nick.
All right, thanks.
Will do, Nick. So your husband took your son to see Top Gun Maverick. Did they love it? Well, I think we lost Debbie. Oh, did we lose Debbie? I think we lost her. Okay.
She might have done something and just kicked herself out. She's hopefully she'll be back here in a minute.
All right. Oh, don't worry, I got you.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, guys. So tell me, what did have any of you seen Buzz Lightyear? Have you seen the movie Lightyear yet? Any of you? Now, I don't think anybody has, huh? No interest. Okay, I see. Yeah, I honestly, listen, my husband is a huge Toy Story fan, And he is from the get-go in the trailer. He absolutely was against it. He was like, yeah, this does not look like it's part of the franchise. You know, it just didn't feel like it was part of that French franchise for him. So he was just like, nope, not going to go see it. You know, and so we did end up seeing Top Gun Maverick. What? That was a 10 out of 10 for me, guys. Did anybody else here see Top Gun Maverick? You know, for a movie that spent 36 years getting to its sequel, wow, did it deliver. I mean, for me, that I would agree with you, Khalid. It was definitely in many ways better than the first one. And I don't know if you guys know this, but you know, Jennifer Connelly's character, Penny Benjamin, was actually named in the first film. The scene at the bar, Meg Ryan, you know, was talking to Kelly McGillis, and she was, you know, because Kelly was like, oh, I don't think he's, you know, speaking about Maverick, Tom Cruise. I don't think he's ever been in love before. And Meg Ryan actually says, oh, no, no, no. Yes, he was. He was in love with Penny Benjamin. And so that character was actually named in the first film. And it was a nice, nice inclusion and nice tie back to that first film. I really, really enjoyed that. And Jennifer Connelly was brilliant. She was great. And for some, can someone please tell me what is the magic for Tom Cruise? He looks like he's 30, not 57. Right? Like, where is he stashing his like lightning in a bottle? And can I have some, please? Drink beer. That's a good one. Yes. Scientology. I don't know about that. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, he really does look like he is just not aged, or at least aged. I mean, he doesn't look like he looked in the first film. It's been 36 years, but he definitely looks really good. Jennifer looks amazing, but she's always looked amazing. Yes, I completely agree. Yeah, you know, Venger, I would agree with that. I don't gravitate to Tom Cruise's movies. But I have to give it to him regardless of his rabid nature in his religion, if you want to call it that. You know, I don't gravitate to his films, but regardless of that, he is a fantastic movie star. What an actor. And you just got to give it to him. He's just amazing actor. And you can't really take that away from him. And there's another Mission Impossible coming, right? From him. So just, you know, he's good at everything. Yes. He is Anton. Right? Yeah, I'm the same way, I have to say. Oh, she's back.
Hello.
Yay.
My headset it ran out of charge, so I'm on the phone.
Yes, we were just talking about
I've heard it.
Oh, okay. We were just talking about how amazing Tom Cruise is.
Oh, very much.
And you know, I have to say, I'm gonna be looking forward to his new Mission Impossible, Mission Impossible movie. Just because I love that franchise. I think that franchise is fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, it is.
It's one of those kind of like James Bond.
Yep.
It's equivalent to the James Bond franchise for me. So I really love that.
Yes.
Speaking of the James Bond franchise, guys, like, you know, we know Daniel Craig is not coming back, but who do you guys think would be a perfect casting as the new James Bond?
Henry Cavill.
I would agree with that. Nick is back. Yay.
Yep.
I was trying to keep it all running for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I literally have not had a call all weekend, which is rare. I mean, extremely rare.
Right.
That I have not, because I work for one of the largest hospitals in the state. Well, actually, the largest hospital in the state. So normally there's always something going on, and I was like, wow, I ain't got a call all weekend except for some stuff I had to do yesterday, but it wasn't really any calls of people blowing me up. And then
Yeah.
one comes in right after I start the
Yeah.
stream. I was like, man, that's literally just my luck.
I'm gonna agree with the White Snake. I think Idris Elba would be absolutely perfect as the next James Bond. You know, he's just, oh God, I love him as an actor. He's just fantastic. Yeah. I really do. I think Henry Cavill would probably not take it on just because it's such a commitment, right? To be the next James Bond. You're in automatically 3 movies deep, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't think he would take it just because I have a feeling that Zack Snyder is going to give us that Superman trilogy with Henry Cavill.
I hope so.
Oh,
I hope so.
Idris is Mr. Costa. Idris is British.
Yeah, yep, he is. And I heard a lot of the pushback on casting a black actor as James Bond. It honestly, as long as he's British, it doesn't really matter to me.
Right? Yeah.
Personally.
Right.
Well, I made a vow when Daniel Craig said he was done with Bond. So was I.
Oh.
I've been through all the James Bonds, but now I'm good.
But Daniel Craig is your favorite then? Is he
No.
your favorite?
No, actually Roger Moore was my favorite.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
I love John. Oh my God. My mother was in love with Sean Connery.
Connery
With Sean Connery. Yeah, he's iconic. I think that he's probably the most iconic of the James Bonds.
Right.
But I have to say that Roger Moore for me is my favorite. Yeah,
but I went with all of them. But when Daniel Craig said he was done, and I wasn't sure I was like in the direction the Bond movies were going, I decided when he goes, I go, and that's what I'm going to stick to. That.
There you go. It's always good to have that kind of, all right, we're going to be done with this, or etc.
Yeah, there's I don't know when they're going to announce who the next Bond is going to be. I heard some people saying it was going to be that other black female actress from the last movie, possibly. But I haven't seen it.
Listen, I am not for skin color does not matter to me.
No,
like Nick, nationality matters to me.
Yeah.
I think that it needs to be British, but I also feel like it needs to be male.
100%.
I'm sorry. I can't see a female. What is it? Jane Bond? No.
Yeah.
No.
See, Idris Elba, I would be okay with, and I'm sure that him would probably get some flack, but it probably wouldn't be as bad as if they got her, that other actress from the last one. If they got her, that movie would bomb, because there would be a shit ton of people that would not support that, with it being a female. And that would be the main thing with it being a female James Bond, not
I would never watch another James Bond movie if they changed it to female.
No, me either. Well, I'm not going to anyway, so.
No. but if they did that, I would agree, Vengeance. Timothy Dalton is probably as close to the books as you can get.
Yeah.
I would say that for sure.
I liked him as well.
Yeah.
Tim was awesome.
Yep.
I'm just, Roger Moore. It's just bow it down, baby. Bow it down.
See, and this is one of the things that, and this is a good conversation, because there's so many other forms of entertainment that Coach and I like that are not Star Wars, and so I like, moving into other sides of entertainment and that sort of stuff, and I've always been a James Bond fan, so.
Yeah.
No,
this is great.
Yeah. Did either of you guys see the new Jurassic Park movie?
I did.
Loved it.
I've seen it 3 times.
Wow.
Loved
So
it.
did you love it as well, Mama Bear?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. See, I've been hearing a lot of mixed reviews
Yeah.
on the movie.
People are crazy.
From critics and from other content creators on how it just doesn't make sense, and there was
It's perfect.
If you've
So-
seen all the movies
mhm.
and you pay attention, which most people do, it made sense to me. I know people say, well, not much makes sense to Mama Bear, but it does. They blend the stories together. It takes them. I get by the third act, they have blended those stories together, and you just
Yes.
have to follow each story individually. They cut back and forth, but by the time the movie ends, they're blended together, and you can see how each Jurassic Park and Jurassic World blended together to make the Dominion movie what it was. And I guess it confused some people, but it didn't me.
I think I'm in agreement completely, Debbie. It made absolute perfect sense to me.
There was just one thing I didn't like.
What's that?
Music.
Really?
Interesting.
No.
Did they not have the classic Jurassic Park theme in
It's
there?
John Williams.
No,
They didn't have the classic.
They did. They played a couple little bits and pieces, but they never played the entire song, and that was the thing that I hated the most. That was it.
Oh man, how
you could hear a little
disappointing!
bit of it, but they never played it. Not even not even at the end.
I wonder why they didn't do that.
I do not know. You heard it,
especially since you're bringing old characters back from the first movie,
right? That makes sense.
They played it on all the Jurassic Worlds.
Yeah.
But the very end, especially since this is supposed to be the last one, you'd think they would have at least played it during the credits.
Do you think it's really going to be the last one?
I don't.
No. But that's
if it's going to make the studio money.
It's breaking records right now worldwide. So
if it's making the studio money, they're not gonna stop. They might get rid of what's his name? Who's the new Star-Lord? Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt?
Yeah.
I don't think they would. I don't think they would. He draws too many people.
Yeah, I'm just saying they could possibly get rid of him and almost reboot it or something. But I don't see them ever stopping making dinosaur movies. Jurassic
I don't
Park,
think they
Jurassic
should.
World,
And
whatever.
Having the background I have, I think you guys know, I have a PhD in Egyptology.
Oh.
So
wow,
okay. I was an archaeologist for many years.
All right, well, quick question before you finish your point there. Did you like Moon Knight?
I did.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
I did very much like Moon Knight, and and it was very accurate in that regard as far as Egyptology goes and Egyptian mythology.
Okay,
I was just a Stargate fan too.
I am, yes.
Okay, I was just curious. You can continue with your point, but I was just curious if you like Moon Knight.
Yeah, absolutely. No. So having the spirit of archaeology. When I went to school, there was many people that were because you have to study archaeology and then you branch off into things like paleontology.
Paleontologist is what I wanted to be when I grew up when I was a kid.
Yeah, just digging up dinosaurs, right?
Yep.
And so you have to study archaeology. So I was I had a lot of classmates and stuff who eventually wanted to go on to become a paleontologist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that feeling, I'm always going to have a love for the Jurassic Park franchise, right? Mm-hmm. Because it just has that feeling of we all want to go back, and anyone that has any kind of inkling towards archaeology in any way, really at the heart of that is just the ability to go back and live as in a world that has been long gone is mm-hmm. at the heart of what archaeologists love about the field. Yeah. And that includes paleontologists. And so for me personally, I have to say that trailer brought me to absolute tears. I was crying, sobbing. And my husband was like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "You don't understand." Right? So that trailer was just, it hit me right in the feels because of that, right? Because Hey, there's obsession.
Stargate is a great movie, and
Very
and
good.
funny that that got brought up, because Mama Bear literally just messaged me today and just thought of it as being one of the movies for our watch parties on Saturday. So I'm sure I'll probably throw it into the mix in the poll next week. So yeah, love Stargate.
I love that
That's an
movie and
awesome
that
movie.
show.
I never watched the show,
Oh
but
my
but I, but
God,
I, but I
Nick.
liked the movie. I liked the movie.
Yeah, and
The
Rex
show did it justice.
Did
Yeah.
It really did.
And Rex, just to like solidify that for you, it was Indiana Jones. When I watched it when I was 10 years old, it was Indiana Jones that made me want to be an archaeologist.
There you go.
Absolutely, 100%. I knew it from I was 10 years old. I said that's what I wanted to do, and that's, I did that. I check.
Yeah, there was I don't know if you remember. I'm trying to think of a nice way to ask you this question, Maria. I don't want to ask you how old you are, but so I'm 42. Are you close to around my
very
age?
proud. I'm 47. I'm very proud to tell you my age.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, the reason I ask you this is because if you remember, back in the 80s, they had, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was like and they had commercials for it, and it was a green box that came with all these monthly cards that you would get with different animals, and then you could get dinosaurs, and they in this green box that they all went in, you would file them in there.
Oh my
there was
gosh.
commercials on it, and maybe
I know
somebody
what
in
you're
chat
talking about. I don't know what it's called.
can remember, but then on the back it would tell you something about that animal or that species. Well, my parents got me a subscription to that, and then there was also around the same time
aren't you lucky?
a dinosaur magazine thing that would come out in different volumes, and it would be all different kind of dinosaurs. And I got like dinosaur books, and like I studied all that stuff, and I was like, and then I loved Indiana Jones, and I was like, I want to be an archaeologist or a paleontologist when I grew up. I went to like dinosaur dig sites in South Dakota.
Oh, wow, look at
and,
you
and all this stuff, and I love that stuff. Even as an adult, I still love that stuff. Of course,
was
my
it
career...
Prehistoric Times? Was that the magazine?
Hang on, it might have been.
Prehistoric. I don't know how long Prehistoric Times has been around, but that's a magazine that's still kind of. I think it's still in circulation today.
I am looking.
Right. And then there's
no, it wasn't
okay.
that. Golly, that's gonna drive me nuts.
I'm trying to help out. There's the journal. Like if you wanted to get real scientific with it, there's the Journal of Paleontology, which was real scientific. But I think Prehistoric Times was that magazine was or is absolutely dinosaur enthusiasts, and it's not as scientific, but it did have some,
Oh shit! I found it.
You did. Yes. Yes.
Vintage Illustrated Wildlife Treasury. I cannot share my screen.
Why? Oh
because I have
Give
to
me the link.
Yeah, let me send you the link and you share your screen. But this is it right here. Let me copy this. Yep. So these are the cards. I haven't found the books. I will find those though.
Are you doing it in Discord or in StreamYard?
No, I'll do it in StreamYard.
Okay.
Let's see here.
I'm like, I don't even have Discord loaded. I'm a bad gamer, and I'm gaming right now. I'm actually building in The Sims.
Okay, so let me. Oh, you know what? Hang on. I can actually just do this. Save image as, and I can just add this and show it on screen because I can upload it.
Oh, there you go.
All right, so that it's going to be in download. So now let me go to brand, and I'm curious if anybody else remembers this right here.
Did I say a no word, or did Nick say a no word?
Coach isn't here, so I don't care.
We don't play it.
Oh, we don't play it when Coach is not around.
Fuck it. you know.
Oh, that's bad. Bad.
All right. Right
Oh,
there.
Yeah. I
So
remember
you
that.
see you got like the different sections where you could organize them, and you would get these pack of cards, and it would have all the different
I remember this.
information
Yes,
on them.
I remember this. Yep.
And there was there would be a monthly, like it's either a monthly or a bi-monthly subscription where you would get stuff in the mail, and then you would add it to your little collection, and this is the box that it came in.
Yep.
But I freaking loved those things, man.
It
Loved
was like
them.
it was like Christmas in the mailbox every month.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh my God, I had those. Dan.
Yes! Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
Yes, I remember
Yeah.
that. I did not have it, but I had a friend of mine in college, one of those that was going into paleontology. She had a whole collection of those green boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I remember seeing them. She had all of that, and she must have been collecting that for years and years and years. Is it still a thing?
No, I mean you can buy it on eBay, but
Right, but I mean like brand new, like
no, I don't think surely they don't do it anymore. I mean, you'd have had to get like
I mean, we have loot boxes nowadays. So
Yeah, you'd have had to get a
basically a
whole-
loot box in the 80s,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
God, what were those kids dinosaur volume books?
Kids these days do not have that kind of
They
level
don't.
of.
No, man.
No,
And it's
they're
just like
going to
everybody.
Wikipedia and like know everything, right? And
Yeah,
just
everybody is on their phones. Information just comes with the touch of a button. Yeah, things were just it was just a different time, man. Just a completely different time. I absolutely love that. Oh, found it. Found
Yes!
it. Okay, all right, hang on. It wasn't just dinosaurs. I actually completely forgot about this. Oh my God, you guys are about to flip because
Don't even tell me they still have it. They still have it.
Because I'm sure a crap ton of people remember these. All right, so let me go to here. Yeah, it was a 15 set. Oh my God, I had these.
Oh,
Hang on. All right, save image as.
how much those things must be worth
Save.
now?
God, who knows? So this is the whole entire 15 volume set. It's not that bad. It's only $60 on eBay. I actually might buy this. Like literally, I might buy this.
That is
For-
nostalgia in a box.
for
Nick.
my
You need to hit the
brother's
buy button.
kids.
Right.
You need to hit the buy button right
All right.
now.
All right, so I'm about to upload. All right, people in chat, you guys let me know if you guys remember these. I don't know how big it's going to be on stream. Charlie Brown Cyclopedia.
Yes.
It was a 15 volume, and I think it was like every month or every 2 months they'd come out with a new one.
Yes.
And I would go to the store and I would see the new one, and I'd be like, Mom, get me this. This dinosaur one, though, right here I remember this one specifically because like this is the one I would literally read these like multiple times, not just one and done and then put them away. I literally would look at these books all the time.
Oh, that's like me and the little golden books when I was
yes,
a kid.
yeah,
Oh.
the little golden books.
Nancy Drew.
I had
Yes,
a crap ton
Nancy
of
Drew
those.
too for me. Yeah, and the Hardy Boys. I'd like the blue books, right?
Mhm.
Debbie, the blue
Yes,
Hardy Boy
yes,
books.
Yes.
I had almost every single one.
We still have them.
Oh my God.
Donna had those.
Heaven melt me.
Yeah.
Yes. Guys, we are walking
What the
through
crap is
time
that?
right now.
80s. Let's see. Nick, did you play TMT yet? I know Coach was playing the other day. I have not played it. I will play it at some point in time. I just haven't yet. Coach has already gone through and beat it, so I'm probably gonna get it on PlayStation and play it with some other buddies of mine.
Well,
and
you gotta go live with that, Nick.
yeah, I can stream live on the channel from my
Echo TV?
PlayStation. No, I mean I'll do it here on the main channel.
Oh, that's fantastic.
With my other buddies. Here
Yes,
in
Tab
Birmingham.
Spain, little golden books. Yes,
Yes.
I had so many of those.
Yeah, I had a crap ton of those too.
Oh my gosh. Memory lane.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Let me see if I can
When
find.
toys were toys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so this one right here. I remember this one specifically. Let me show this one on screen because this was oh my
Yes,
God.
Donna.
I completely forgot about these until you just brought it up, Maria.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I had that.
Three
When
little
Disney
pigs.
was for
Good.
kids.
When Disney
Yeah.
was Disney.
Mhm.
Yep,
when-
this is what Disney used to be.
Yep.
They are not the same.
No.
Not even close.
Well, you know,
to what they used to be.
it's sort of the same thing, Nick, right? Like
Yeah.
we lost Walt Disney.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the stuff that kids grew up on. Now that's
Right.
all this agenda, political, social crap being pushed towards kids, stuff that's overly sexualized. Not to get political here on the channel.
You better
but-
hope they don't put Pinocchio out the way it looks now.
Oh yeah, that
Oh
thing.
my God.
That's getting.
It's like a horror
bombed.
movie.
Bombed.
It's like a horror movie.
They better either reshoot it or just shit can it altogether.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm not opposed to it coming out, Debbie. I'm going to tell you my reasons, but here's my caveat: do not market it to kids.
Well, no.
It needs to be a rated R movie, and it needs to be like the way I've seen it, like the little bits I've seen of it. It's for adults. So don't do the same thing that you did with Lightyear, where you're telling Nick's phone's going off.
No, I just muted it.
Okay. Well,
it isn't me.
I
Yeah.
normally have the ringer off, but I'm
Yeah.
literally in a conference call right now, and I
Yeah.
gotta leave the volume up just in case. I just
Mhm.
turned the speaker off while these other guys are talking on here. But you guys probably, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but
No.
I can still hear the conversation. So if they
Yeah.
need me
No,
for something,
I would be okay. I'm okay with taking something that was a child centric story and turning it into an adult film. I'm okay with that as long as it's marketed properly to adults.
Right. But here's the other thing. The
Like Pan's
community,
Labyrinth and
the
things like that.
community that is putting this out was always against stereotypes, but they themselves are putting this in a stereotype that they hated.
I would agree with that.
So what is the goodness of that? How does that help that community? It doesn't.
Now I'm assuming because there's 2 Pinocchios coming out, Debbie.
I'm talking about the one that Tom Hanks is starring in that
Okay.
had the trailer out portraying the Tinkerbell like person.
Okay,
That is-
I have not seen that one.
Okay, this is the remake of Disney's Pinocchio being put out for children with Tom Hanks as playing Geppetto. And at the very end, when he makes his wish, the Tinkerbell-like person, just use your imagination, is not Tinkerbell.
Well, then that one I have not seen. I
Well,
don't think that must not be Guillermo del Toro's one.
No.
All right.
This is based on Disney's cartoon.
Okay. Well, just so you guys know, there is 2. One of them is Guillermo del Toro's creation, and it's not the Disney one. It's going to have Ian McGregor in it.
I have not heard about that
and
one.
Kate Blanchett,
The only one I
and-
knew about was the one Debbie was talking about.
Ron Perlman. and Finn Wolfhard, who is the kid from Stranger Things.
I don't think it's the same one.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's definitely not the same one.
Yeah, no, it's not. And this one is absolutely, it's practically a horror film. It's not, because Guillermo del Toro did Pan's Labyrinth. If anybody here remembers Pan's Labyrinth, that was an amazing movie.
Yeah, you're right, Tatooine. It is basically RuPaul as the person who grants the wish.
And after the leaked Disney executive meetings, not surprised.
Right, but that leak is gonna be what brings Pixar down. This isn't a Pixar movie, though. This is a live action movie.
Yeah, me and Coach were literally talking the other day. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the video with Christina Aguilera on stage with the strap on.
No.
It was disgusting. It was at a family-friendly event, and she's like on stage.
Great.
And it was
Who was
disgusting. That? Christina Aguilera.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well,
if you go,
she tends to be I mean, it's like
which is fine, but at a kids-friendly family event, was
it her show?
Yeah.
So if it was her show, then it's not kid-friendly. I mean,
but they
bring kids because it's Christina Aguilera, right?
Yeah, but they said that's still what it was.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's odd.
When you announce that it's a kids-friendly show, you can't do that.
Yeah, no, I would completely agree with that.
Yeah. If I would have been there if I had a daughter, and I would have covered her eyes up and walked straight out.
Yeah.
Quick. It's like the innocence of children is just being overtaken. And again, I don't want to go down the political road, but
I mean, you guys know I'm in filmmaking, so I feel differently a little bit about that, but I'm in the space of, I think story is open to anything. You just can't market it if it's not family friendly. Don't market it or use a story that is clearly a children's story, like Toy Story, right?
Right.
And use that as your vehicle. Like you could have just told a brand new animated film. It didn't have to be tied to Buzz Lightyear at all.
Well, they actually bring it when they start the movie. If you've seen it, they actually come out and say this movie is based on a toy that Andy bought because of an actual space person, a spaceman, or they came out like we're explaining it, which I think was added on because of all the grief that
I mean, if you gotta
Tim Allen wasn't in it, so
yeah.
I still can't believe that they did not have Tim Allen. When I found that out, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna watch this movie. I'm a huge Tim Allen fan, and he's Buzz Lightyear, and plus all the other stuff I heard about it. It's just not anything.
It was so the only reason I went to see it, I said, well, I'm going to see it and review it for myself. I just want to see what they did or didn't do, and it was like, well, but funny enough that the kids seemed to be entertained. I don't think the kids could intellectually, when I was there, get the message that they were trying to send, but the adults sure did get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that's why the kids aren't seeing it anymore.
Yeah.
There was hardly anybody there today.
I mean, I'm not. I never tie a single actor to a particular role.
No.
So what was that? Okay, sorry. I'd never tie a particular actor to a single role. Like I know that and kind of circling it back to Star Wars. Like I'm not opposed to recasting Mark Hamill. right? If we're telling a story with him being as young, if we were to say, Sebastian Stan, I'm very
Yeah.
pro Sebastian Stan, right? Like taking that mantle from him. So I'm not married to a single person being, that's the role and nobody else can do it. And I think Chris Evans was a fine choice. I did not like, I just don't like the storyline being presented to young children that are being marketed to. I did
Right.
not appreciate the Toy Story franchise being taken over to tell this other story where they could have just done
Right.
brand new characters and told their story and it would have been fine. I think
Right.
the major issue is just that it was that Toy Story stuff.
Guys, give me 5 minutes real quick. I just gotta talk to these guys real quick, and then I'm gonna be done.
Okay.
All right.
Be right back.
All right. I do not agree with some folks in the chat that say that people are trying to convert heterosexuals into gays. That does not happen. You are born gay. That's not something you can be turned into or turned against. That's not how it works. But I think that a lot of the stuff that's happening now, it's I feel like there needed to be some more equality in the world, but I think in the last 10 years we have swung all the way to the left, far too far to the left.
Correct. I think it should be
and
up
we
to
need
parents though to
correct
teach their
that.
children.
Right. And I think we need to correct that this way, like pull it back a little bit, because
Yep.
we were, and I'm going to be honest, we were all the way to the right for a long, long time. There was a lot of stuff around, gay conversion therapy and
Yeah, but just like working with when people were mentally ill, trying to do all these things. That's not the thing. As I said before, most people are middle down the road people. All people want to do is live their lives and live that without having someone else tell them what they should do or think. I just want to live my life and live it without anybody telling me I have to agree with this or I have to agree with that.
correct.
Just let me live my life. I'm not going to tell you how to live yours. You feel comfortable in your skin, great. If you don't, fine. But don't make me have to say that I feel comfortable in your skin too. I just
If
want
you
to live my
don't,
life.
right.
And most people will be happy that way.
Yeah.
But when you force feed this stuff and then you want to force feed it to my kids or my grandkids, no.
Right. No. I again, I feel we've swung way to the left.
Yes.
And listen, guys. I mean, I know I'm in a forum that I am not the majority, because I am a Democrat and I'm pro-choice and all that good stuff, right? So I'm not in the company of my peers, and even I can say that we have swung way too far to the left, to the point where a man is afraid to hold the door open for a woman because of being accused of being a chauvinist or whatever the case may be, or a man can say, "Oh, you look nice today," to their coworkers, because they're afraid they're going to get
Right.
right,
Sexually harassed. Right.
right. Yeah.
No,
So
it's a crazy thing. But here's an example though. A little kid came up to the podium. I was just getting off work and another girl was coming on, and she had kind of shorter hair, just a little bit longer than mine. Came up to take my place, and a little kid, couldn't have been maybe 5 years old, came up to her and said, "Are you a girl?" Now, come on. You know that somebody has to tell him to ask or before they say something. I felt so bad for her because it took her aback. The girl that I work with, I'm not going to mention her name. And I thought, oh, please don't say anything to him, the little boy, because I don't think he meant anything bad about it. But this is something that obviously he was told to ask or say, probably in school.
yeah.
I mean, I've never, why would you ask that question?
Yeah.
And I just felt so bad for her. And I took her aside later and I said, I hope you weren't afraid, you know, that didn't upset you. I said, these little kids,
Right.
they're being torn by so many things now. Just, you know, she handled it okay. She said, no, I'm a girl. But, you know, the look on her face when she was first asked that question was a look of terror.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, young children specifically should not be exposed to that by anyone else but their own parents. It is 100% up to the parents in that sense, you know. So I see in the chat. I might have I might have poked a bear by saying some things, but nonetheless,
Well, you didn't poke me. I'm okay. You didn't poke this bear. Is there anything that they're talking about? I can't see what they're talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a little bit commentary on I guess my stance on some things, but
well, you know,
yeah.
let's get back to the movies then. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Yes.
Because I can't
see anything here. You know, as far as like the TV shows, Kay, I just said I'm a Democrat and I'm
well, you know,
pro-choice.
I have plenty of friends that are Democrats. So. I'm more of a conservative person, but
yeah,
like I say, I'm common sense. I consider myself a person that has common sense.
Yeah.
For things, not that you don't. What I'm saying in my
absolutely.
thinking, I just like to go with something that's common sense. If it's a little bit not to the center, one way or the other, then I feel it's still common sense. So that's how I look at things. But
yeah. So I just I feel you know, if we can kind of talk about what's coming up, you know, I think one of the things that I'm most looking forward to is Andor. I'm really excited for Andor, and I think Andor is going to really kick butt. I think you know, I am loving the fact that it's using practical sets and physical locations. I think we've overused the volume, guys. And it's just not work. I mean, it's not working for Obi-Wan Kenobi for me, and it wasn't really working with the Book of Boba Fett for me. I think it works with the Mandalorian, maybe because we're kind of used to that from the Mandalorian, and maybe because the Mandalorian kind of has, you know, has some good legs to stand on as far as the story and stuff like that. But I think I think I'm over the volume. I'm over the volume. I want to see you know, I want to see Star Wars go back to practical sets and physical locations.
I wonder if they'll use the volume a lot in Ahsoka's show.
I think they are.
Okay.
I think they are, and I'm a little concerned about that. But then again, I also am. You know, this is you know, it's Dave Filoni's baby.
Right.
This is his brainchild, right? So for me, I feel a little bit better about the Ahsoka series because it's really tied into and is being driven by someone who created it.
Right.
Whereas I feel like some of our other shows, you know, they're missing the George Lucas aspect of it.
Right.
You know, he's the one that created, it's his brainchild and we don't have him. So they kind of lose themselves in their story. Saw that with Book of Boba Fett, seeing it with Obi-Wan right now. And I feel like, you know, with Ahsoka, we might not have that same situation going on because it is Dave Filoni's baby. So
true.
Hi, anime guy. How are you?
What's going on, Brandon?
Oh, I'm all right. Although I'm just looking at the chat and I'm not fully sure what's going on. I just saw the thing saying, "Hey, pop on in," and I'm here now. So all I will say is, as long as Disney is how they're operating in their current sphere, I hold out no hope for anything that they make. And all we have to do is just look at Lightyear. and they completely they had an opportunity, and once again they blew it.
A lot of people feel that way, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, once I heard what WDW Pro and Valiant were talking about, just after the first 10 minutes, I said absolutely not. In fact, it was so bad, I told my ex that I don't normally forbid her from doing anything because she can handle her household the way she does. She was telling me that they had pre-ordered tickets to go see Lightyear, and I told her no. I told her under absolute no condition do I want you taking my daughter to go see that, because to be blunt, I don't want to have to deal with the questions that show is posing, because one, biologically it doesn't work, and two, it's not appropriate for a child of that age, let alone her younger sister who's only going into the 2nd grade.
Right.
So
and that's every parent's right to make that decision for their own kids, and I support whatever you guys want, whatever anybody wants to do as far as that decision making goes, for sure, 100%. Real quick though, CS sends in a $2 super chat. What did they decide to do? Why did they decide to do an Andor show? I don't know the reasons behind why they decided to do it, but I think that, and this is just speculation on my part, but I think that they were just thinking this could make for an interesting spy thriller type Star Wars universe type show. And with the writers involved, I think it's got a shot of at least being decent, because the writers involved are top notch. The writers involved in Kenobi, in my opinion, are not. And you can just look
I
at
never heard of them.
Yeah, you can just look at their writing credits and find that out.
Yeah. Well, I think Andrew Stanton does have some legs to stand on, right? Like
Andrew Stanton does, but let's take
not
a look
Joby
at
Harold or
who has
Joby
left
Harold
Pixar. Who has left Pixar? Everybody that was of worth has already left Pixar. When they got rid of John Lasseter, the last one that I know that left was Brad Bird, and he's done a lot of them.
Yeah, there's
I'm
nothing.
Surprised. Go ahead.
There's nothing much of Pixar, the Pixar that we actually grew up with in the 90s. So just to say that Pixar is Pixar today is kind of
no, it is not.
It's laughable. So the Pixar that we talk about today is not the same Pixar that we talk about from the 90s. So it's not the same thing anymore.
Same thing with Disney now compared to Disney in the 70s and 80s.
And I can answer CS. So if I can answer
go ahead, Maria.
CS's question there. The Andor show was done almost about a year after the release of Rogue One. That project was one of the first ones to ever go into production.
Yes, it was.
They've been on it for a while.
Yes, and that literally came out of the success of Rogue One and Tony Gilroy specifically, and the extended contract that Tony Gilroy now has with Disney around Star Wars. He is going to be involved in many projects, not just Andor, which I'm fine with, because I thought the writing that he did for Rogue One was exceptional to me. Rogue One is probably at the top. Yes.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Happy Father's Day to everybody.
Yeah.
And real quick, I want to welcome Mags to the show. How you doing, Mags?
Hey, Mags.
Hey guys. It's been a while. Sorry.
Yep. And we got Rob here. How you doing, Rob?
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Hi, guys. I'm a total stranger. YouTube algorithm I saw this live and I just thought I'll join. So.
Yeah, good to have you, man. Have you been here long? Have you kind of heard any of the discussion or what we're kind of talking about?
Well, I've been following channels like, I think it's called Nerdrotic or something. And
Gary.
Mola
Good channels, by the way. I'm gonna add.
I've actually become fan. Like, I didn't know they existed before, and like the last week, I've just subbed and.
I'm a huge fan of Mahler, by the way.
I don't know if you can see that, but Gary actually texted me today.
Oh, look at you, show off!
Gave me some nice
show off
compliments. Yeah. But yeah, I just thought about that when Rob was like, "Oh yeah, I've been following this Nerdrotic guy." I was like, "Oh yeah, I just talked to Gary on text message today." Which I was actually supposed to be in Dallas this weekend, with the whole FNT meetup crew over there.
And the fan expo.
Yep, at the fan expo. But I was on call this weekend, and I had a wedding that I was supposed to be going to next week in Florida, but come to find out it was actually yesterday.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, my buddy told me that it was next weekend because I'm on call this weekend. And so I missed the FNT meetup and I missed the wedding.
Hope you sent a gift.
Event. I did not, but I'm gonna go down there later this summer, and I'll end up taking them.
You'll make it up to them.
Yeah, they're friends of mine, and I'll definitely see them again at some point in time soon. But real quick, I wanted to give Rob a chance since he's the new guy here.
New guy.
You were saying that you've been watching Gary over at Nerdrotic and some other channels, and you got any thoughts or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just to I might be speaking to the choir, but I suppose, I mean, I do have a YouTube channel. I'm about 50,000 subs, but my channel is more philosophy, religion, science. So I'm in the astronomy department in my private life, and so I'm a Star Wars fan as far as, like, I think you could say those type of Star Wars fans that they look at the original trilogy and keep it close to their heart, but they're not vocal about it. Whereas obviously there's Star Wars fans like yourself that, you express ideas, and you for example, Nerdrotic and all those guys, they make content pushing forward the what they want to see come out of that very beautiful story.
Yeah.
And like even Star Wars Theory, like, again, that's another channel I didn't know existed. So I'm coming from I'm in Australia, so it's like it's like I'm living under a rock, not realizing that there's all these
other content creators out there.
Yeah. So my reaction, like, I haven't watched Mandalorian. I haven't watched like I haven't even watched like Rise of Skywalker. Like, after Last Jedi, I walked out of the cinema after I'm seeing Leia fly through space. So I'm
Mary Poppins.
That's kind of like all of us, Rob. It's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a Star Wars fan. Just like, in fact, just last night I was watching Return of the Jedi. After about 2 years, I haven't seen that movie. I was watching it with a close friend, and I'm just taking in just how simple and straightforward. There's a certain sense of like a spirituality, but then there's this wrestling with father and son, and it's not complicated. And there's a clip in Return of the Jedi, and I've actually made this. I've linked it in the private chat for you guys to watch if you want. But there's a key contradiction between the Obi-Wan show and Return of the Jedi. So the Obi-Wan show has Reva saying, "Anakin's still alive. You didn't know that, but I'm here to tell you he's still alive." And then that shock Obi-Wan has. Well, in Return of the Jedi, Obi-Wan tells Luke, "When you were born, we hid you from your father." So if Obi-Wan had the perception that, okay, he must be dead now, why would the Return of the Jedi Obi-Wan clarify to Luke, "Oh, by the way, when you were born, we hid you from your father because the Emperor would fear, if the father had any offspring." And
I never thought about that.
And I notice everyone on Nerdrotic are thinking of, like the contradictions between Episode 4 and Obi-Wan. But yeah, that's all well and good. But there's a key discussion that takes place between Obi-Wan and Luke at the end when everything, sort of like culminates, like finally when Obi-Wan comes out with the full truth. And there's a key contradiction, and I can't believe the writers of, the Disney writers for Obi-Wan, I can't believe they just missed that key, connection.
Well, if I could just
So
interject one thing,
Mhm.
this was all then after Luke knew, correct, that he was his father.
this is after episode 5, yes. Like
Okay,
finally
well
when
then
yeah.
it's after Luke already knew, then it was okay that he could tell him, we separated you.
But the
Well,
point is, the
yeah.
point
But
is,
then
if
he
Obi-Wan,
knows well, because he already knew he was alive then too. He didn't know at
But
the
the-
time he was.
but the point is, according to the timeline, if
Mhm.
I take the Obi-Wan series canon seriously, this is 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So in those 10 years, Obi-Wan had no idea Anakin was still alive. Now, when you fast forward 23 years from Revenge of
Okay,
the
I see what
Sith
you're saying.
to Luke, like why would Obi-Wan tell Luke when you were born? Because back in Revenge of the Sith, they're having that discussion, Yoda,
Right.
Obi-Wan,
Mhm.
and Organa.
Right.
Like, you know, hidden the children must be kept. So Obi-Wan's like, yeah, I'll take him to Tatooine, you take the Leia. But they're having that discussion and that plan in the context that the Emperor obviously is still alive because Yoda didn't kill him. And it's ambiguous where Anakin is, and it's interesting that Return of the Jedi, Obi-Wan clarifies and says, when you were born, we hid you from your father. Well, why would he hide Luke from Anakin if he's presuming Anakin's dead? So,
Yeah,
I think they
yeah.
said Sith in the movie, but that's okay. Yeah, you're right.
I see what you're saying, and I never actually put that together. I never thought about that, but yeah, you're right, because when he's talking to Luke right after Yoda dies in Jedi, he says, where's I wonder if I can just pull the clip up just so I can.
Well,
show
I made it a very short 1 minute clip if you want to share.
Oh yeah,
And I put the subtitles and all that.
Hey, Brandon, can you click that link in the private chat that Rob put on there and share your screen, because I can't share my screen because I'm using a green screen. And
yes, 1 second here.
StreamYard changed, or Google Chrome changed or something, and now it's all jacked up to where none of my crap works.
Yeah, 1 second here.
All right. But yeah, I never thought about that, but that's actually a good point, you know. So yeah, we'll play this clip. Brandon's gonna go ahead and pull it up and share his screen.
Yeah, let me get my screen shared. Just had to do
the more I watch the original
duties.
trilogy, the more I fall in love with the magic and the specialness and the simplicity of just those 3 films. And
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let me maximize it there. Let's see how it looks. Okay, it looks good.
Yep.
Okay, make sure my volume's up. Here we go.
Fair use. Fair use, YouTube.
Safe. The children.
Yeah, even when you tell them fair use, they still like to get all snippy. They did that with me on my channel yesterday. So let's see.
No, I've kept this very short.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's only like what, 1:15.
Yeah. Well, even with that, they still can get snippy. So
Must be kept.
We must take them somewhere where the Sith will not sense their presence.
Now pause it just there. Now, again, I'm speaking here as a writer, so like when you say the Sith, now that's ambiguous. Is it plural? Does it mean singular? So if you take seriously George Lucas's canon, at least as far as like when this movie was released,
2 there are.
then
Master and Apprentice.
You know, when Obi-Wan starts talking to Luke, it's like, yeah, Sith plural, based on what he says to Luke over here.
Yep. All right, hit play, Brandon.
Okay, 1 second here. And here we go.
To protect you both from the Emperor, you were hidden from your father when you were born.
Yep, he did say that.
Yep.
Anakin Skywalker is alive.
You serious?
Yes, we're serious.
Yes. That's how incompetent they are in their own continuity.
To protect you both from the Emperor, you were hidden from your father when you were born.
20 years, by the way. 20 years.
Yeah, I made sure
And
to
the
slow it
facepalm.
down to emphasize it. Yeah.
That's great. Great.
Yeah.
Did you make that, Rob, or was that somebody
Yeah.
else's? Oh,
No,
good job,
I did
man.
that. I gave it to a
Good
friend
job.
just to like
That's
put it on his
that's
channel. Yeah.
that's
Good
perfect, Rob. I love it.
Yeah, I actually I see that, and that's the thing about. So I always use this as an example. So when me and Coach were watching Game of Thrones season, what was the last season? 8, I believe.
Yes.
Which show?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones is season 8.
That show doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I refuse to acknowledge its presence.
So the last season in episode 8, that was the first year of our channel, and we were covering it. And so I watched that. I absolutely loved that show. Like it when that show was coming out, like I was like, oh my God, new Game of Thrones, like premiere night, episode 1 of season 8, like gotta be there. And so I was watching that season, and as the episodes were going on, I was like, oh man, that was so cool. But then I was kind of reserved. I was like, oh God, I don't know if I really like that. But man, I love this show. Then I watched Gary and Doomcock doing Nerdrotic, Gary and Doomcock doing their Game of Thrones reviews. And they pointed out so many things that never even clicked for me. And then I was like, that's actually a good point. I never thought about that. And then I looked at it completely differently after that. So it was like, you know, sometimes I'm able to turn my brain off watching entertainment, and it doesn't really hit me. But the thing is, I know Star Wars forwards and backwards. It's been a part of my life as far back as I can remember. I know this franchise inside and out when it comes to the movies. I don't know everything about the EU or the Clone Wars, and there's other content out there that I'm not super familiar with. But as far as the movies and these main characters go, I know them, and so that's why I like to watch a lot of different people's viewpoints, because I might not always think of everything, you know, and it's a good gauge also to just get a lot of different opposing opinions. Like I don't live in an echo chamber or try to listen to everybody that agrees with me. I'll actually go listen to somebody, you know, that's like, this sucks, when I thought it was great, because I'm like, well, why do they think it sucks? Like, is it something I'm missing? Or if I think something sucks, I go watch somebody that's praising it. Like, am I missing something here? Is there, you know, is it something wrong with me? Like, let me hear what their thoughts are. So yeah, that's it. I just think it's really important to listen to a lot of other people's viewpoints. And with Rob's video, there's just something else about this show that I never, you know, put together. But it was a great point. And now, Rob, I'm going to use that moving forward for the show when I talk about it.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. That's literally my first. I've sort of like broken my virginity as far as like now getting involved in the discussion with this, because I've never done that before.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's fun. It's fun, and here on our channel especially, we welcome everybody with all different kind of viewpoints. There's a ton of people here on this panel and in the chat that completely disagree with me a lot. You know, completely disagree with me. And then there's a lot of people that 100% are on my side, and other people that are kind of on my side sometimes and not on my side at other times. So, but it's all in fun. We try to have fun with it. Like I said earlier in this stream tonight, you know, my opinions are my own. You know, it's not an attack on anybody and that sort of thing. So, because I know some people got, and I'm not talking about you, Debbie, but there were some people in chat that were not happy and was kind of seemed to be taking it personal on my stuff that I was saying last night.
But you know, it's sometimes it's just a matter of different perspective and how you take it, and other people take it differently, and that's subjective to them as well as you. And you know, it's really on the individual who looks at things. So
yeah, and that's, I agree, and that's perfectly okay, and that's just
Well, here's
the
the
way it
thing.
is.
We now have examples of how to treat a franchise while respecting what has come before, but still moving that ball forward, but doing it in a way where it literally abandons nobody. You have Cobra Kai. You have, which just came out Thursday, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. That is an absolute awesome game to play and well worth the money.
Coach already went through it and beat it.
Oh yeah, it's not very long. Then again,
Yeah.
a traditional beat 'em up isn't very long, but it has a lot of replay value because of the multiplayer aspect and completing the tasks. And then Top Gun Maverick. You take a look at the box office from this week and how bad Lightyear's performed versus Top Gun. Had Top Gun been able to be in the larger format theaters this weekend still, they would have completely wiped the floor with Lightyear, and they would have probably also wiped the floor with the dinosaur movie, which will not be made, which I will not name.
Are you talking about Jurassic Park, Brandon?
What? It's not Jurassic Park. That's not Jurassic Park. I have no
All
idea.
right,
what you're talking about.
World.
I mean,
it's-
so there's two people in here that saw it and loved it. Just saying, I haven't seen it. So I don't
But
know.
That's okay. I don't plan on seeing it. So
the thing is that each of these movies made, I think, almost $1 billion over the weeks, and then what was it, the latest I heard was $600 million for Jurassic Park. I could be wrong, so chat can correct me. And then you have Buzz Lightyear at 85 million.
Oh,
And
I
they're
thought they backed that down.
I
That's
I
what
don't
was
know. It's
projected
just
to
it's
make.
not
You just go to
it's not
box
looking
office,
good
OJ.
regardless. Let's just put it that way.
yeah, the
Box
last that I
office, no
saw, yeah, it was 85 was the high side, and that was being marginally optimistic, but
Yes.
it's only pulled maybe 50, 51, whereas
Right.
Top Gun's pulling about 45, 46 again.
Right.
Yes.
It's over
They're stone's
600
throw away
million.
from the $1 billion mark. They're going to hit it.
Yes. Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
hit the $1 billion mark after what, the third or fourth weekend, Brandon? Is that what I'm hearing?
See.
Yeah, their drop off in the States, anyways, has been very small. So,
Right.
typically, the best way for me to gauge how a movie does is how
Yes.
well the domestic market matches up with the international market.
That's a good.
That
That's a good
shows
approach.
running.
Yes.
Yeah, it's running about 50-50 between the two. So
Yes.
it's unapologetic in what it is. It's just a fun movie that celebrates everything America.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not, it's America, and by God, I love it.
Yep.
Right.
I
And
can
we
tell
need
you
more of that. To be quite honest.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here trying to post links and stuff in the chat, and I keep posting in the private chat and not the main. I'm like, why is this not showing up in here?
Well, I've got you covered there. I'll take care of it. So I'll
Okay.
pop it here again in a little bit.
All right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Maria,
the best.
Oh, go
sorry.
ahead, Rob. Go ahead, Rob.
I was just gonna say the best dinosaur quote unquote show or movie, like that comes close to the, say, Spielberg's Jurassic Park, the first one,
Dinosaur.
is David Attenborough's Prehistoric Planet that was released on Apple.
I like
that's
dinosaurs.
such a good show. That
Not
is
the
such
mama.
a good show.
Not the mama.
Oh no, I love that show too, Nick. But yeah, the Apple TV show. Oh my God! But David Attenborough is, we gotta bow
A
down.
gem.
Yes, you gotta bow down. You gotta bow down.
Maria, did you see Top Gun?
I did. It's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it a 20 out of 10. It is sitting very nicely at $855 million so far.
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick. To put it in perspective, Doctor Strange is at 942 million. So that was in theaters for a long time. So I think Top Gun Maverick might just hit the 2B mark when it's all said and done, and probably give Avatar a run for their money.
Wow.
As far as all time.
Yeah.
Dominion,
that'll be coming out soon.
Yeah, and Jurassic World Dominion is at 600 and respectable $622 million worldwide. So
Right.
And the thing is, these two movies. I mean, whether you want to disagree or agree with the Jurassic movies, but Top Gun and Jurassic are going to bring in all the numbers because they're blockbuster movies. So
Yep.
they're going to come in with the summer big hits, and it's like, of course they're going to come in with the big leagues. So I mean, it's just it's inevitable. Yeah.
Absolutely. And like Star Wars, I mean, these movies are largely based on nostalgia. So
Exactly.
their selling points are that nostalgia. Whether the movie is good or bad is irrelevant. Really.
Exactly.
Because people will go see it just because it's part of this larger world and larger franchise.
And not only that, but the Jurassic movie is bringing in all the old characters in. So of course people are going to want to come and see the old characters. So I mean, there's that, and the dinosaurs. I mean, who wants to see that? So I mean, it's just exactly.
Yeah. For
And
sure.
Tom Cruise was very smart. He did not take upfront money. He said, "I'll take 10% of the income."
Yep.
So that man is making a lot of money.
And he pushed back and kept them from releasing it on streaming.
That's
right. And made them wait and put it in theaters.
And
he did not want it going straight to streaming.
They also put the Taiwan patch back on that China said they had to take off and they wouldn't show it. I'm glad to see they stood up to that too.
Yes. And
Amen.
Also, I just say, Tom Cruise, I know I gush about this man, but let me just tell you something. The man owns an F-14, an F-22, and an F-18 himself. Owned by him. He is a certified jet pilot, and he was the one that was instrumental in bringing the cameras into the cockpit for this movie. And I think that completely 100% made the difference. And that's why this Maverick is better than the original.
And not only that, but it made because it was the cockpit experience where everybody had to learn how to deal with the G-force situation in the flight. So it made it that much more real.
That was real, yes. That
exactly.
was real. Yeah, that wasn't acted. That was real.
There's
I'm all about the G-forces. It's all about the G-force.
Yes, yes, it is, Eddie.
Absolutely. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. We're just in here hanging out, discussing. Good to see you, man. Glad you were able to pop in. Did you see Top Gun, Eddie?
I did see Top Gun, and absolutely amazing. I mean, like for the 50-year-old man, like I mean, it was amazing that that those practical effects came into play again, and like I thank the Lord that.
And how amazing Eddie was to see Val Kilmer. With everything that Val Kilmer has gone through in the last 10 years, that poor man has been through the ringer. And Tom Cruise was, in fact, instrumental in bringing back Val Kilmer for that shot.
It brought a tear to my eye to see Tom.
It was done so delicately,
so well.
You know. Like I mean, he like, I mean, as we know now, like he was suffering with like throat cancer, and like it was done so beautifully, you know, and like a tear like it was a definite tear moment, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when Tom actually touched his hand, like when he walks up and sits down, and as he's sitting down, he actually it's sort of like he was breaking character in a moment where he just wanted to say I'm here, sort of thing. Like
and the funny thing is a lot of people might not know is Val Kilmer really did not even like Tom Cruise during the filming of the first movie. And Tom Cruise, he talked about how all the other pilots, they were kind of hanging out, going to the beach, having fun, playing pranks, and Tom Cruise was kind of away and separated from all of them. You know, they kind of became a close-knit group, and Tom was kind of like the outsider. But real quick, Indiana Trekker 26 says, I have no desire to see Top Gun because I have no desire to see Tom Cruise on screen. I just don't care for the guy. I don't care for him either personally, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a great movie. And,
exactly.
Absolutely.
And it's a great movie, and he did great in that role for that film. I think Tom Cruise is a weirdo. I've actually hung out with him before out in LA. He came to a buddy's show with on a motorcycle, and he had 2 Tahoes of security guys with him that were following him behind him. And he's very short.
Yes.
And he's a
Did I
very
hear right that you was that did like the actual story itself of Top Gun was a true story?
yeah. It was on an article that was published in a paper, I think, or a magazine.
And there's controversy around that right now.
Yeah, they're going through a lot of legal stuff. But Rob, did you see Top Gun in Australia? Is that something that's big down there?
Yeah, there's very few movies actually showing in cinema. When I haven't been to the movies since 2019.
Yeah. Everybody here in the States knows all about the craziness in Australia with the lockdowns and the all that. We feel for you guys.
Yeah, no, it's and the whole COVID wave, it's sort of reached its peak, and now it's pretty much the curve has gone down. But when I walked in, I was just surprised to see there's only like 4 movies. Obviously Jurassic Park was up there, but I just came in just to see Top Gun. The last time I saw a movie was I forgot what movie it was in 2019, but the last movie before that was The Last Jedi. So I don't really go to the movies much.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, I saw Blade Runner in the movie, and that reminds me because again, I'm after quality over quantity. So Top Gun Maverick, say Blade Runner, like these are these rare moments where they actually care about the source material.
Yeah.
The moment you start not really caring, I don't know how else to put it, but when I see the finished product, like for example, since we're talking about Star Wars, I don't know, like what's going through their minds to, it's like, this will do sort of thing, or like why are they even writing what they're writing? I just don't understand. So when I see, for example, Tom Cruise taking the care to innovate a more like an intimate sort of, like, we have the technology to actually be in the cockpit, and to this is what pilots actually face. I will say something about the first Top Gun, because I'm a huge I love aviation, and
I am too.
The first movie, just I was a kid watching it, and I just
and quick question, not meaning to cut you off, but quick question: Top Gun or Iron Eagle?
Ooh, the only thing that Iron Eagle did well was with the little cassette, that little the music that would play, like to sort of like inspire him. But the thing with the original Top Gun is that this may sound really judgmental, but even the quality of the acting, like back in the 80s. So for example, at the start of the first movie, where you have the bald-headed guy giving him a pep talk about, your ego is writing checks, but your body can't cash it, right? Like, there's a certain genuineness behind those discussions, because those people actually do come from the military. Like Viper, before he went into acting, he is actually in the military. But a lot of the commanders here in Maverick, they're just actors.
Yeah.
There's no... They don't talk, like natively, like as if they are from the military. So the only one that actually has any form of like military experience happens to be, ironically, Tom Cruise, because he's actually flying the jets. And
it's funny when you mention something like that, because I have an uncle who's in the Air Force, and so I would love to see if he's actually can speak from his experience as well as watching this movie, to kind of get his opinion on that matter. It would just be interesting. But I get you on that one.
My brother's in the Air Force. He works on F-35s, the F-35 stealth.
See my uncle is the one that fuels the jet planes in the air. So
he's he's on a tanker.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and
So
and you can't beat the sexiness of their 14s. Those
exactly.
bits are always gonna be. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
one of my favorite scenes in the new Top Gun Maverick, was when he got back into the Tomcat.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I was just like,
Yeah.
man, this is awesome. Like,
Yeah, I was like, how freaking cool is this, man? It was, see, and going back to writing and entertainment, you know, me and Coach have brought this up several times. Like when people watch like the first, you know, 3-4 seasons of Game of Thrones, Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, Stranger Things, Cobra Kai, the vast majority is overwhelmingly positive, because you don't have to do any kind of mental gymnastics or anything to see greatness. You know, when you see it, everybody's just like, the vast majority is just like, oh wow, this is great. With the current Disney Star Wars, it's very divisive. You know, it's okay if there's people that like it, and I know there's people that absolutely hate it, and some people that aren't even watching it. But for the people that are watching it, you know, it seems to be a mixed bag, and I don't think Star Wars should be that. I think Star Wars is a property that should be at a greatness level, to where when it's being shown, like everybody's like, oh, freaking how freaking awesome was that? Like, that's so cool. Like, man, they're hitting all these points, and it's just so divisive, which in my mind, it just proves the fact that it's not great. Even if it's okay if there's people that like it, and I know there's a lot of people that like it, and that's perfectly fine. But in my mind, it should be a vast majority of people. You don't hear that many people trashing on Top Gun Maverick. Like, I don't know if I've heard anybody that has said that it's bad.
I
The
don't know
only people
anybody
who
that did
the
it.
only people who've talked trash about Top Gun Maverick is really the mainstream media, and those are the types of people that you need to dismiss immediately.
Oh yeah.
The
So
lamers.
just
Their
FYI.
opinions don't even matter to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm you know, the fans, the general audience, you know, people here in the YouTube space and on social media that aren't bot accounts, like actual real people. You know, it's a good way, and that's why I'm on so many different social media platforms, and I watch many different YouTube channels and stuff, because I really want to try to get a good gauge on kind of where everybody's at. And I'm seeing some good supportive videos on Kenobi out there, but the vast majority of them are not kind to this Kenobi show, and in my opinion, with good reason.
Well, Nick, if I may say, like, if you compare that to like Ms. Marvel, like
I've not seen it.
Like I mean,
It
That
wasn't
sounded
made for me.
painful, by the way.
like Ms. Like, I mean, I've watched about, like, I mean, there's been 2 episodes at the moment, and I tell you, it's complete torture to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
See, and the funny thing is, like, so I hear that from a lot of people, and Eddie's saying that here now. But then, you know, like people like our friend Cameron Pasha, who we've had on the show, loves Miss Marvel. If you guys follow him on Facebook, he makes posts and he's talking about what a great show and what great writing it is, and you know how good they got the characters and stuff. And he is, I feel, in the minority for sure there. Now, Maria, have you seen Miss Marvel? Have you watched that show? Do you know?
I
anything
have.
about it?
I have. I
Oh,
have.
what are your thoughts about it?
I
Are you enjoying it? Do you like it?
no.
No. Okay.
No, you know, and I'm a huge Marvel person.
I am too.
Yes, just like, you know, just like I am with Star Wars. So I like it so far. It's okay. It's not anything that's going to blow my mind. And I just don't think, to me personally, of all the Marvel shows, I have to say for me, number 1 is Loki, followed very, very closely with WandaVision. And the rest can kind of just drop off from there. But yeah, I would say Miss Marvel for me is at the bottom. It's even worse than Hawkeye.
Oh, wow.
And you see, that's interesting because I watched WandaVision up till that last episode. I did not watch the last one because of what they did. I tried watching the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I was like, nope. And I haven't watched any of it since, except for the first episode of Miss Marvel. And normally I'm pretty harsh on Marvel for skipping basically 30 plus years of content and characters that they could have gone with that wouldn't have sucked. But at the same time, I'm glad they didn't, because their reputation is not that good right now. And here's what I'll say about Miss Marvel. I do tend to like it more than I don't. The main character, the young lady that they have playing Kamala Khan, she really is good at that. And for what they're giving her and what they're asking her to do, she's doing a good job. I think the show is getting too much undue criticism. I do believe that. You know, the easy way to put it, is it a 0, 1, or 2? No. Is it a 8, 9, or 10? No. Is it like a 6 to a 7 that's trying to punch up to be more like an 8 to a 9? Yes. Now, just because I like her and I liked how the dynamics between her family play out doesn't mean I like how they hero worshipped the Plankwood. But then again, the Kamala Khan does have more character than the Plankwood. I will say that in absolute terms. So give it a try. But on the flip side, I also did an experiment. My wife is as normie as it gets. She doesn't do any of this. She doesn't. What I do here on YouTube, the only thing that she knows that I do is that I run a show and that I come and do wrenching work and all that other stuff. But I had her sit down with me and start to watch it. And within the first 2 minutes, she was turned off by it because of how they disrespected the Avengers and propped up the Plankwood for being the end-all be-all savior of everything else, and that anything that they had done prior, and that all the Avengers, including Black Widow, was basically worthless and very disrespectful.
They really do
so
that in the show?
If you look at the first 2 minutes, the introduction part,
okay,
that's how she took it. And when she saw that, and she told me that it was only about another 5-10 minutes in, she's like, I can't do it. I'm having problems getting past those things.
And the thing is, to prop up, even though I haven't really seen Miss Marvel, I can just guarantee you right now, with the people that I talk to at work and everything else, the general audience does not care about these extra weird different characters beyond the normal Avengers. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you right now. They do not care beyond Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America. I mean, other than the normal Avenger people, the ones that were the first Avengers in that first movie, with other than the top 3 and Scarlett Johansson as a Black Widow and Incredible Hulk, there's going to be those people in the general audience that's not going to like that 3rd or 4th or 5th tier of character. They don't care about them. They do not care. I'm just saying that as a person who's talking to these normie people, they do not care. So
exactly, and that's the biggest problem.
I'm living under a rock because I don't even have Netflix, for example.
Well, neither do I. So you're in good company there, Rob.
You're good.
I
You're good,
have a massive, nasty disdain for Netflix after the fruiting incidents from a while ago. But
I actually have a 2 terabyte external hard drive that's basically a mini Blockbuster.
That's the way to do it.
I have everything. I have ways, and I'm not gonna say.
Does it involve a surfing and a sharking and everything else in between with the VPN?
Yeah, pretty much.
When in doubt, use protection.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, pretty much. And real quick, guys, I'm actually trying to find. I missed one of CS's super chats. Up here it is. He says Rob is correct. The idea that Obi-Wan doesn't know Anakin is Darth Vader or alive is ridiculous. I have no idea why that is written into the show. I agree. And there's a lot of see, and this is
also I just want to quickly say, like, where the Obi-Wan show could have gone. Again, this may come as a shock. I haven't seen the animated Clone Wars. I haven't seen Rebels. I've only seen, because it was a bit of a hype. I'm a big Ray Park fan. Again, I do kendo, so because he's a martial artist. So when he went back into like motion capture and with the Darth Maul character, like I only saw just glimpses of that, but I haven't I'm ignorant of the story that developed, I suppose, between episode 3 and 4. But I suppose Lucas was still in control of all that stuff before Disney took over and all that. But
yes, he was very much involved with there's Clone Wars and the Clone Wars, and he was very much involved with both. Yes.
The only Clone Wars I liked was the Samurai
Tartakovsky?
Jack. Yeah, the animated, this 5-minute animated.
It's like the Japanese anime style.
The 2D version of it.
Yeah, the guy who did Samurai Jack, he did that. To me,
Tartakovsky, yes.
That is my Clone Wars, because that fits beautifully into how Grievous became injured. You know, the way it ends with Mace Windu crushing him, and like that's the extent of my Star Wars. Is No.
The shorts, the animated shorts that they did.
Before they made the Clone Wars in the 3D, they had let's see, Vertical Horizons had it here. Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars. It was basically just short or 5-minute long animated episodes, and I do remember seeing that.
They were on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, with Grievous coming in, laying waste to everybody, and then having his heart get crushed by the purple lightsaber wielder.
Yes.
Like
those were awesome. Those were really good.
That's the extent of my Star Wars-ness, and all the I suppose you could say the details in between, which is there's a potential for infinite amount of details you could fill in, right? But that's up to your imagination and how you can maybe daydream about maybe then these events transpired and so on. In other words, it was sufficiently satisfying to just leave it like that. So when you have a show like Obi-Wan, I'm thinking, okay, I didn't care about Mandalorian, but even though it's got good reviews, but I just can't be bothered with that, or the Boba Fett stuff. But at least with Obi-Wan, I was sort of hoping for a little bit of a glimpse into, say, Darth Vader's emotions with, say, Padme, because it's so heart-wrenching to see
some flashback to the Clone Wars and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but not just that, but when Darth Vader's turning to the Emperor and is saying or asking him, is Padme still alive?
Exactly.
And the Emperor lies and says, in your anger, you killed her. But then as he's saying no, the camera very ingeniously focuses on the Emperor smiling. Because it's the Emperor that technically killed her, and he's now a slave to the Emperor, and supposedly this mentor and this friend was actually everyone's enemy, and then then what transpired, like Obi-Wan as a hermit and focusing on Tatooine, which is meant to be totally in the outskirts, not like what I'm seeing with these shows where Tatooine's become the central hub and the go-to place for everyone. It's meant to be
the Outer Rim. Yeah.
Yeah, there should have been a bit of a Obi-Wan doing what he needs to do, Darth Vader doing what he needs to do. Episode 4, finally we meet. Not, Obi-Wan running around and then being pulled through fire and anyway.
That wasn't on Tatooine though.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It just seems to make the universe feel small, and everything starts in Tatooine, and it's always it doesn't gosh, he's supposed to be concentrating on the Force at this point as far as Qui-Gon and everything else is concerned, and it's just I don't know. It seems Seems weird.
Yes,
Could be worse. It could be Jack Gill.
Yes.
So there was some a lot of things that I was thinking about even today, just on the Kenobi show, and like how much better I thought it could have been. So like if they would have, and the thing is they had hang on.
He has a work call, guys, so give him a minute.
Gotta love it.
I just no. I actually just pulled up a clip from Revenge of the Sith. I just wanted to make sure I got this right. Hang on.
I gotta take off, so you all have a great night, and everyone be sure to subscribe to everyone here. I might be back here in a bit to keep an eye on things, but I do need to give my dad a call before he goes to bed. So,
all right,
take care, everybody.
You, man.
Good night.
Take care,
Good night.
Brandon.
We'll see you. See you, Eddie. See you, Nick.
Brandon.
Bye.
See you, Debbie, Maria, Mags,
Bye,
and
Brandon.
Rob. Good to meet you. And
Yes,
yeah,
Rob.
subscribe. Bye, everybody.
Yep. See ya.
Good on, mate.
So if you guys remember in Revenge of the Sith, right after they crashed the ship after saving Palpatine, Anakin and Obi-Wan are having a conversation, and Obi-Wan's like, this is your day, go have your fun with the politicians, whatever, and he's like, okay, but not for saving your butt for the 10th time. And Kenobi's like, no, not that business on whatever,
Right.
doesn't count. So to me, you got Hayden and you got Ewan coming back, and if you're going to do something that takes place in between movies, it should enhance what's come before and it should enhance what's come after it. If they would have started this series off during the time between, say, right before Revenge of the Sith, where, say, the first 3 episodes are nothing but events that we never saw on camera, such as that time where he's like, no, that doesn't count.
One time, right?
That one time doesn't count, which we never saw in film. And we see this relationship in this building of this relationship between these two characters unfolding. And then you jump to current times 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. And then you see him protecting Luke, and you have a parallel story at that point in time with Vader hunting down the Jedi, trying to find out what happened to Kenobi, and Kenobi protecting Luke, and something going on Tatooine that might have something involved with the Inquisitors, whatever, but he's there, and there's 2 parallel stories going at that point, but they never meet again, but it just enhances what's come before and then what comes after it. And now you have so many fans, whether you like the show or not, whether you're okay with stuff they do in it or not, you have fans that are all over the place of, this doesn't make sense, I'm okay with it, this doesn't add up, this doesn't feel right, no, well, it's because of this, I'm okay with it. It's all over the place. And it shouldn't be that way with Star Wars. It should be written and done in a way to where everybody's like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Oh my God, this enhances this moment. Oh God, it makes this because Coach always says he was not really a fan of, neither of us were a fan of the prequel movies, but after he watched the Clone Wars animated series, he appreciated the prequels a whole lot more because they enhanced what came before it.
Right.
We're not getting that with Kenobi, in our opinion. Again, there's people out there that are enjoying the show, really liking it. That's fine. But it should, if it's done right, you should have this massive approval of it.
It should rhyme.
Yeah. I will say it does have an awful lot of mistakes in it. Like that, especially in one scene where they actually, Kenobi actually has a trench coat, and he's sneaking out with a child with it. So what the hell is going on?
Oh yeah. But here's the thing, guys. Here's where I think everybody everybody should be thinking about this is that you have to think about how the Book of Boba Fett and how Obi-Wan Kenobi came about as TV shows, right? Both of these shows were supposed to be slated as movies. They were supposed to come out as anthology movies, much like Solo and Rogue One. And so what I think happened is they were influenced by a script, a previous existing script that was written as a flowing, continuous story, right? That was meant to be filmed as a, live action film that you go into the theaters for. And what they did was, instead of writing new stories, they took what they had to work with and tried to incorporate that into the show and then tried to release it as a TV show. And it doesn't work that way because you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes that have no context, because most of the context comes in the middle act or the last act, right? So it's either act 2 or act 3. And that kind of ties all of it together. And if you're watching a movie, that makes sense. But when you split it up into 6 different episodes and you are giving fans an entire week to mull over this episode, right? And they're like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense, blah, 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 blah. Because these shows were not meant to be released as a movie. I mean, as TV series. They were meant to be released as one continual story. If we were to take Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I know they're going to do this, they're going to release this as a continual story in a theater, I think people would feel completely different about the show.
But the problem is this wasn't the original script to begin with.
Correct. Yes, it was.
The one that we were given was not even the original script to begin with, even before The Mandalorian, because even there was an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie before The Mandalorian existed, and that was in production hell for the longest time.
Yep.
And then The Mandalorian came out, and then that was its own entity. And all of a sudden, KK didn't have any idea what was going on. And then when she came down to the Mandalorian set, it was too, quote unquote, to her, of course, is what I've been hearing and listening and understanding the situation, too similar to the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So when they turned it into the show, they had to, quote unquote, rewrite the scripts. And it's been in production hell the longest time, even before The Mandalorian.
Right.
So I mean, it was too dark too.
Exactly. And to be quite honest, it's still similar to The Mandalorian. So I don't understand where she's coming from with this situation. But to be quite honest, it's not the best written show, and it's terrible. And it doesn't make any sense to be even. If I saw it even in theater, I would even look at it and I would think it would be stupid, to be quite honest. And that's just my opinion, because it doesn't make any sense. None of it does.
Yes, but I have to tell you that both of those scripts, the script for Book of Boba and the script for Obi-Wan Kenobi, were not just thrown in the trash. They were taken. They
were in production hell for the longest time because they had to be rewritten several times because they had.
And these are things I don't even know about.
They were rewritten because they were too similar to each other, and that's the problem.
Yes, but they were not scrapped. They were repurposed. So there was a lot of stuff in there that was.
The original Obi-Wan situation was a movie before The Mandalorian was a thing to begin with, and so that's
I
the
remember
thing.
hearing that it was that they were.
But that script was not trash. That script was repurposed, and a lot of it was used in.
Well, the original script we don't even. I of course, Script Doctor and other people who are involved in actual Hollywood would probably could say something, differently about that. But to be quite honest, this was before The Mandalorian show, and then that was trashed according through KK. That was trashed because it was in production hell, and then all of a sudden it turned into a show because they were doing it for the Disney Plus situation, and that was for Disney Plus because of this that was being released, and then all of a sudden it became, too similar to The Mandalorian because KK freaked out, and then therefore the script changed like a third or fourth time. So that it kind of gets to these weird changes where it loses itself from the very original it was
absolutely
supposed to be.
And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that if they were to come out as movies that they would be better.
Exactly.
I think they would be better received because you get to see the whole story. I mean,
exactly.
How many
Yes.
Start to finish. Yeah.
How many answers to all these questions that we had from episodes 1 through 4 did episode 5 answer for us?
And to be quite honest,
right?
and be quite honest, when they say they're quote unquote and I'm not saying anything wrong. I'm not saying anything ugly when I speak in this. It's just the way it is, the way it was in terms of how it got here, is that it became a 6-episode limited series.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me wonder, as a person who's understanding the news, as far as, hey, this is advertised as such, that a 6-episode limited series right now, as we know it, 6 episodes, especially at 30 to 35 or 40 minutes long, is kind of like a long movie or 2-movie series. So it's just, it makes you wonder how it got to this point. So as an audience who's paying attention to this, it makes you wonder. But
Right.
we are paying attention to this.
Yeah. So when I get a script that was okay, so sometimes when we purchase scripts that were intended to be movies, right? And when we go to say, okay, we want to make this into a TV show, a movie could be anywhere from 120 minutes to I mean, it could go up above that, but it
Exactly.
could even be shorter than that, right?
Right,
So let's
right.
say the average is 120 minutes. Sometimes what we have to do in order to adapt the script of a movie into a TV series is we have to add fluff. What's called fluff, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so into the episodes, we start adding some fluff into it. And sometimes that just absolutely breaks.
Filler episode. Yep.
No, not just
the episode,
but within an episode.
Within all of it.
Right. And so that's typically what we have to do. And these scripts are not cheap. So like when Disney bought the script for Obi-Wan and that was all getting whatever, they paid good money for that. And so they're going to incorporate most of that. Now, you are absolutely right. The project was scrapped. That doesn't mean that the script was.
Exactly. No, and I was and when I say trashed, I mean like as in things were trashed and therefore things start all over again. It's yeah.
And I just think that Lucasfilms just they have no direction. They have no vision. They're kind of like floating around lost in the wind. And I'm going to say this, and I know this is the unpopular opinion, but I'm not going to put my hat on Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
No, I'm not either. To be quite honest.
I
used to, but I agree with you.
They are people just the same. First of all, Jon Favreau does not work for Lucasfilm at all. He is an independent filmmaker.
Yep.
Okay. While Dave Filoni does work for Lucasfilm, he was groomed by the best, which is our beloved George Lucas. He's also trying to maintain his job. He's gonna have to do what they tell him to do.
And he was inherited with the purchase. So yes, exactly.
He was inherited with the purchase, and a purchase that in sitting in a room with him, I know he did not like that. The sale.
Exactly. I that's my impression too. But yeah.
Just like a open-minded question here. I mean I could be missing something when I ask this, but I mean I grew up with say Jedi Outcast, Kyle Katarn. Again, I played KOTOR, just the first one. I haven't played the second one. I played, say, Star Wars games sparingly. Like, I don't know if any of you here know about X-Wing Alliance, Ace Azamine, obviously Factor 5's Rogue Squadron games.
Yeah.
So, like, there's so much love.
Yeah.
Right. There's so much love in all those classic games, and even like the Thrawn trilogy, those novels. When I was in high school, I would go to the library and I read the Thrawn trilogy. Like, why that when you're talking about scripts, the expanded universe and all that stuff that was taking place in the late 90s and early 2000s, you have the stories. Like, you already
had the
have
scripts.
everything
Yeah.
going for you. Just so, for example, from when I saw The Force Awakens, I immediately was thinking Kyle what's his name? Adam Driver's character. He's
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. He's the son of Jedi Outcast. Like, he's a failed student of Luke. And he, the son, killed the Jedi in the Jedi Temple, and then you had this rogue sort of like mercenary, sort of like a Han Solo character who's Kyle Katarn, who has like a bittersweet relationship with the Force, and that could have been such a beautiful, very like in-depth sort of like Kyle Katarn sort of thing that would then lead into bringing back, say, Han Solo, Luke, Leia, because of the new New Republic stuff, and like, and then. And I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, but I have seen the spoilers in the ending, and apparently a Palpatine is who becomes a Skywalker, and it's his bloodline that's still living. And I'm thinking,
Correct. Yes.
didn't these people who I'm 34, like I'm presuming these writers are my age, and they also grew up with the same stuff I grew up with,
So you're my age. I grew up with two older brothers who both of them and me, we grew up on the original trilogy before the prequels came out. I understand where you're coming from in terms of that perspective. It always amazes me that here's when Disney bought Lucasfilm, one of KK's first things she said was that we're going to throw out. I mean, I'm not. This is kind of a paraphrasing situation, but in the chat, and anybody else can perfectly correct me on this, but basically throughout the expanded universe, and I wasn't versed in the expanded universe, I will admit to that. But the one thing that turned me off was that she threw out what came before under George Lucas's tutelage, and it was several decades worth of content that could have served them well.
She led the big lie. She led the big lie.
She led the big lie, and that's one of her biggest issues. And that's one of my biggest issues against her is that, here you have decades worth of content that you could easily hear. I'm speaking from an accountant's perspective. You could have tons of money from all of this previous content that could serve you well in terms of bringing Star Wars into the future, and all of these stories and all of this production and all of the fandom that brings along with it. And instead they decide to throw it out the window. And that's so confusing to me. And I don't understand that.
And maybe, you see, say if they did go down that route, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it would be repetitive for people like me, but I wouldn't care. In other words, I'm actually seeing it like as a feature film, that the stuff that I've grown up with is there, and it would have introduced, say, because I know for a fact that, like, say, my folks or other family members who obviously don't even know about all that material, at least it would be like that would have been a way to introduce them to the stuff that I was growing up with.
Exactly. Yes.
The stuff that I love, right? Like,
yes.
Like, what a wonderful marriage of like, because of that material that's already there by people who actually love the original content.
And you speak about that because I talk about, not very often, but like my mother saw, and I say Star Wars as in Star Wars: A New Hope in the theater. So it's kind of like my parents, and it sounds like your parents are probably that generation that actually saw that in the theater originally. Yes, and I'm internally jealous of that. But at the same time, I'm like, we grew up with, we're kind of like the generation that grew up with maybe the original trilogy before the special editions in the 90s. And then we also grew up with the prequel trilogy era. So it's kind of like, you know, we have all this content that's out there, and it's like, why are you throwing this out the window? I don't understand this.
So
like my folks have no idea about, say, Kyle Katarn and stuff. They only know about, say, the original.
And the thing is, the only reason why I know about the EU and stuff and such, because even though I have never read it and I've never played the games, but I wanted to know Star Wars in general. So
and there was a whole dedicated website. Like when the internet became a thing, there was like an official expanded universe Star Wars website, and I would just like in the library again, I'd just be like fascinated and daydreaming, and that was sort of my pastime sort of thing, you know, like
and I agree with that. It's just it's crazy, and I'm like, I never was well versed in all that, but at the same time, I'm I'm thinking of from a financial standpoint. I'm like, you have all of this that you inherited from the creator himself, and why don't you use it? I just don't understand.
So let me kind of reel you guys back on that, because George Lucas never considered the expanded universe canon.
I understand. I understand that but he also had his blessing on it as well. And I'm not saying it's canon. I'm just saying it was also part of.
Yes, and I love it when people say they had his blessing. Let me tell you something. There are thousands upon thousands of books in the expanded universe. He did not read most of those. He didn't even look at them.
Exactly.
The story group was in charge of that, right? So we have a 30+ person group, story group.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, Debbie.
Love you all.
You know,
love you.
That would actually, their focus and their job would be to, like, you know, read through that stuff and bless some of that stuff. That's still going on today. That's exactly how publishing works on that side of the house. The problem with the expanded universe, and I know this is a very controversial problem because there's a lot of people who love the EU. The problem with the EU was its continuity within each other, and also synergy between the books. And to actually go back and try to fix all of that.
Tron! Hi, Tron! Hey, Tron! Hi, Tron! Oh my gosh.
Oh, I get so excited when I see him. Oh, the famous Tron is here. So
look at that smile. Look at that smile.
So but that's really to try to go back and try to like fix all the continuity and the synergy and the flow between. That would have been an incredible amount.
And that was one of the biggest things that I remember doing some research on, is that the continuity between the comics and the books and everything over the decades was always an issue. So it's just, you know, there's always that, but at the same time, it's like you inherited all of this stuff that maybe you could have helped fix, and instead you did something completely and utterly different. It's I don't know.
I gotta say, so sorry, Rob, and I gotta say, the story group that we have today in Disney is still pretty much, for all intents and there's new people in it. I'm not gonna say there's not, but for all intents and purposes, it's all the same people that were, you know, back from 2012. So I will say that.
You know, you've actually, Mario, you mentioning about Lucas and his relationship, I suppose, with the expanding universe. I've totally forgotten about that. Like, I didn't realize that. Yeah, there was I remember, for example, like praying for Lucas to if he, like, obviously he made the prequels, right? But say after 2005 moving forward, no one's expecting another Star Wars movie, maybe forever, right? But all of us, I remember, because I was just leaving high school at the time in 2005, and we were all like hoping for maybe Lucas will finally utilize expanded universe. Who knows? Because I remember there was that tension. There was this this frustration that Lucas wasn't paying enough attention, I suppose, like how you put it. And And now it's just amazing to see where we've come, right? Like 17, about 17 years later now since episode 3.
Yeah.
It's like we've forgotten how we used to we used to be frustrated with Lucas in that context, and now it's like it's like this has totally distracted us or made us forget about what we've come from, right? Like
yeah.
So
I mean,
So-
Lucas
so-
wasn't
so-
perfect. You
So
know?
Maria, do you think that maybe there was like a weird relationship between Lucas and just anything beyond the movies, or?
So no, I mean he really loved all the authors that he got to work with. The authors were never a problem. I mean, he had a really close relationship with a lot of the big authors, Timothy Zahn, et cetera, right? In the expanded universe, it was just he always meant for other people to take his stories and create stories from them. George was always a huge proponent of people working within his universe and writing new stories. That
including fan
Yeah.
films.
That's correct.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
Now Disney won't let anybody do that.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
They give a lot of they gave Star Wars Theory a lot of crap.
No.
fan
That's
film.
the whole other. So I have an 81-page document in that defines the guidelines and what I can and cannot do with Star Wars IP. Okay, I went to the legal team
from Disney
and
or from
yes, I went
George Lucas
from Lucasfilms. They
before
said,
Disney bought them or after?
I've had both.
Okay,
I've had both.
Are they similar?
They are. They
Okay.
are. Okay. And what it is a lot of filmmakers don't want to play in that sandbox. Okay. And one of the things that's said is for example, because Lucasfilms does not own the full copyright to their music, it is a shared copyright with the creators, and meaning John Williams. One of the guidelines is we cannot use any of the music. But you know how integral that music is to Star Wars, and a lot.
It makes without
it makes
the
or break
music,
it, right?
it's not the same.
Exactly, right? And so a lot of filmmakers, they're like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I have to be able to use the music. And so then that's when Disney's like, well, sorry, we're going to have to strike you down because there's a shared copyright and we don't own the copyrights completely to this thing. So, for example, one of the things in the guidelines for any animation, right, I must use the character's likeness to the actor. So Ben Kenobi has to look like Ian McGregor. Ben Solo has to look like Adam Driver, et cetera, et cetera. I can't deviate in animation for that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there's it's an 81-page. It's the same. It's pretty much the same as it was before the 2012 sale. So yes, Lucasfilm, out of all of the franchises, is actually very, very amicable towards their creators. You try doing that with DC, they strike you down with anything you write. Star Trek, immediate strike for anything, right? So Disney is actually very amicable with that, but they have a sandbox. They have a defined sandbox, and a lot of creators don't want to play with that sandbox. And
Nintendo's really bad too.
And Star Wars Theory is one of them. He doesn't want to play in the sandbox. So there you go.
How cool would it have been to see Han Solo shoot the Emperor? Like,
you know. Give me a fan film about that.
Yeah, really.
I expect to see it in a year or two, Rob. Go write it.
How cool would that be if Disney did a what if series on Star Wars?
I love that. I think that would be
well, that's the only saving grace, because then I'll consider that canon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Real quick, Alexander Studio sends in. I'm not sure what MX is. $20. Thrawn was part of the U. How do we explain that? I think that Disney cherry picks stuff out of the EU to bring into canon. And I think Thrawn is such a popular character, they definitely wanted to include him.
I mean, it's ridiculous things like Darth Vader suddenly stopping the decoy ship in this last Obi-Wan episode. You know, that's just a
All right, go
Oh.
ahead, Tron.
Just thought I pop in and say hi to the fam, and smile of course. I missed pop-ins.
Yeah, me and Coach are we just cannot do it on Saturdays because he's trying to, not get a divorce. So we got to try to keep our Saturday night streams, not running 4-5 hours. Like 2 hours is like a 2.5, is like a good time frame. So we're gonna try to do the pop-in stuff separately, like what I'm doing tonight. Like he had some stuff come up tonight, and we were supposed to have the Twitter people on here that were getting trashed by the Star Wars Twitter account and so many other people, and he couldn't be here. And I could have just been like, all right, we're just gonna reschedule, and did nothing tonight. But I was like, I'm stuck here at the house. I'm on call for work. Let me go ahead and do a pop-ins tonight. And so anytime that we can do pop-ins, we are going to continue doing pop-ins, forever on this channel. So,
and I'm glad I decided to click on YouTube and saw.
Yeah.
I don't know, YouTube algorithm had this as the main stream thing, because obviously I've been typing.
So have you been have you heard of our channel before tonight, Rob?
No.
Okay.
It was literally because I was watching Mauler do EFAP, I think he calls it.
Yeah.
Like
I love Mauler.
Yeah.
Oh my
so
god.
that was a couple of hours ago, and then I'm back home. I'm just like you, nothing to do. Click on YouTube again, and then suddenly pop in discussion on Kenobi. I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is just some discussion thing happening, and I clicked it, and sure enough, the link's here, and I.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Mauler because he is actually the narrator for our next documentary, which is the rise and fall of LucasArts Gaming. Rob, I'm sure since you're new here, you don't know that we actually did our first feature film like a year and a half ago, where Doomcock was the narrator, and it was on the Star Wars sequel trilogy, and we had Gary from Nerdrotic, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. We had so many different content creators that were a part of that. And Robert Meyer Burnett, if you're familiar with him, helped us out with the editing. Yeah, it's our second most viewed video on this channel at almost 300,000.
I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah,
it's very well done, Rob. Very well done.
Yep, and we're in the process of making our second feature film documentary now on Star Wars game. Well, not just Star Wars game, but LucasArts is a company, and of course, once Disney bought Lucasfilm, they disbanded LucasArts, which was a crime in my mind.
Yeah, big crime.
Yes,
because I loved when I was on my work call, I was still listening, and those LucasArts games. Jedi Outcast, X-Wing Alliance, X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, the TIE Fighter series, X-Wing. Like I played. We grew up playing.
I was
all
friends
those.
with one. I was friends with one particular developer, Factor 5, for Nintendo GameCube, and they haven't released it, but it's a finished game. Rogue Leaders for Wii.
Really?
Yeah, like they basically
can you
took.
Get a copy?
No, there's a lot of red tape behind that, but they had the Wii remote, like actual lightsaber fight, like properly done stuff with the original Wii. And because of the 2008 financial crisis and so on that happened, everything was liquefied, and then Factor 5, they just crumbled as a studio, and they're just independent now, doing their own thing. And but the people that were the designers, the programmers, just absolutely top quality, top notch folk that just dismissed, and
it happens.
No, but then just a moment ago, I was also going to point out, like, for example, Force Unleashed, innovative
Great
stuff
game.
where, because of the Euphoria system that was developed to the ragdoll physics in that game, that's why you have the developer making a story based sort of thing, like oh, let's try and apply that, say, to a Star Destroyer. So you have the Star Destroyer being pulled down, and so yeah, like I don't know who mentioned it, but this sort of like this loose grabbing from established material. So yeah, why not have Darth Vader stop a ship? But that's just what are you doing? Are you trying to just find continuity with respect to force powers based on video games that we played, and neglecting then the story, which is meant to be the main issue in the way, like that's meant to be your main focus and drive, and making sure that goes well, like
yeah.
So that's my frustration. It's all these little petty little grabs, like, oh, that looks cool because see, there's a video game once that did that, so let's put that in for a few seconds in the show. And
yeah, I almost feel like
yeah.
Disney Star Wars is almost like somebody that is trying to build a car out of existing cars in a junkyard, and they use tons of parts from tons of different cars, and then you have this monstrosity. It runs and it drives, but it looks like crap, you know. And that's kind of what I feel a lot of what Disney Star Wars is it's a lot of pick and grab of stuff that's happened before, and they kind of just mesh it together, and it's just kind of a mess, somewhat.
I think Daniel Ponce said it best in the comments just then. That's where I'm at the moment.
Who was it?
He says, I'm at the point where this is the very latest comment by Daniel Ponce, that one, yeah.
I'm at the point where my personal headcanon consists of whatever Star Wars content appeals to me, regardless of continuity and or cognitive dissonance. It's all messed up now anyways.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, because and I said this in stream, a lot of the stuff that's acceptable or not acceptable to a lot of fans is really dependent on their own headcanon and how they understand stuff. You know, we got a lot of people in this fellowship of people at Echo Base Network that are really liking this, and a lot of this stuff doesn't bother them, and a lot of it is justified to them, and it makes sense to them. And then you have another side where it's like, none of this makes sense, this is dumb, you know. And so it's really just a mixed bag, you know, amongst the fan base. It's kind of all over the place. There's not any, you know, everybody on board, everybody on the same page. It's like when Luke returned in Mando season 2. I think the vast majority of people all loved that, you know, and a lot of the fan base was all on board there and really loved that episode. And I think for the most part, most people really enjoyed The Mandalorian. But there are some people out there, and I was critical of The Mandalorian. There's a lot of The Mandalorian that I thought was cringe and stupid and that I did not like at all. If you go back and watch our reviews on it, I was very critical of a lot of different things, but overall the show was okay to me. And it was good. I liked it for the most part. But it also didn't have legacy characters involved in it up until that moment when Luke returned. So there wasn't really anything that was too offensive to me in there, because it was mainly based around new characters. And like, I almost think that Disney Star Wars almost needs to move on to that formula, you know, and get away from a lot of these legacy characters, because they obviously, in my mind, don't know how to do them right.
I agree, Nick. So I think that it is imperative that we move forward. That's why my trilogy is episodes 10, 11, and 12, because
Yeah.
I feel like we need to move forward. I also myself personally just did not want to see the Skywalker saga end the way it did. So I was like, no, not my saga.
Silence.
Right?
Yeah.
Users, Tron is trying to speak.
Okay.
All right, go Tron.
Kinda like Warhammer 40k. Orcs build stuff, it somehow works for some stupid reason.
Yeah,
40K?
40K subscribers.
Are you at 40K subscribers, Tron?
No way. Are you really? Wow.
40,000 subs? Wow. Really? I missed that. You surpassed us. You need to give us.
No.
Oh no, not 40,000.
Okay.
No.
I was like, man.
I think he's talking about Warhammer. 40K, 40K Warhammer.
40K. Okay.
Yeah, am I right, Tron?
Okay. He's shaking his head. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
He's talking about he mentioned orcs and 40K. So.
Oh. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, got you. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he mentioned those things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What were you saying, Maria?
I was just thinking that I think that the answer to fixing Star Wars is to just move forward and move forward in the timeline. Quit trying to go back and interject into timelines where we have our beloved characters and our legacy characters and all that stuff, because you're just mucking up my stuff, man.
Yeah.
No, in my opinion, just shift delete on all these Disney servers from 2005 onwards. Like,
yeah.
Oh, come on. Well, listen, I'm gonna, and Nick knows this. I'm a big fan of Episode 7. I thought Episode 7 was great. I thought Rogue One was probably by far one of the best.
I liked Rogue One.
Yes,
I liked Rogue One
Disney
as well.
movies ever. And I'm a 50-50. I'm 50-50 on 8 and about 80% hated 80% of 9. So there are things in all of those movies. I despise
those last two movies.
Yeah, I understood.
100%.
100%. I understand. But there are good things in them that I think could be, good. And that's why I'm doing the project that I'm doing, right?
You know what?
I feel like there's some good things that could be taken forward.
Let me just say this. I do sort of take that back in the sense that at the end of Force Awakens, when you see Luke give that bittersweet look to Rey, it's like, like, here I am. And even when John Williams, because he nearly won an award for that theme song that he made.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, that felt like original trilogy Star Wars. That end shot as the camera's panning around. Then with Last Jedi, I'm seeing him flip that, and I
have to admit, as an original trilogy fan, and having to grow up with that, and even though that's our generation, Rob, where we grew up, we're quote unquote supposed to be the prequel trilogy generation. At least in my house, I was original trilogy. It's The Force Awakens was kind of like, oh my gosh, yes, we're going back to Star Wars and blah blah blah, and that whole look and everything else, it was just amazing, and it felt like a bait and switch after The Last Jedi. So,
let me tell you why. I'm gonna give you some tidbits into why, okay? Because JJ actually had the right idea. If you notice in Episode 7 at the end, Luke is in full Jedi robes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what JJ Abrams really intended was for Luke to have sensed that Rey was coming to get him, and that he would be ready to go and join the fight. Because, and this is the part about Episode 8, I cannot swallow, he would never tell his sister no.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would think
set that up.
Perfect. The way.
Wait, can you clarify that? Because I may be missing details. Yeah.
At the end of Episode 7, when you see Luke Skywalker, he is in full Jedi robes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He has his whole regalia on, right? Why would he have that on if he did not intend to join the fight?
And I was thinking exactly that. And I was thinking, because I was hoping Last Jedi would be, well, I was horrified by Han Solo's death. Han Solo should never have died.
I hated it.
And I understand people hate it, but I gotta say, I was okay with it because Harrison Ford was okay with it. I
wasn't surprised by it because I knew he always thought his character should have died. So when I saw it happen, I was like, "Oh, surprise!" I guarantee you that's what Harrison Ford was like. I'm not coming back unless you kill my character off. Like I wouldn't be surprised by that. But I hated that they killed Han.
Yeah, he came back for Episode 9, by the way.
But when he said he wouldn't say no to his sister, what clarify? Because I didn't watch the rest of Last Jedi. Like I left the movie when Leia flies through space.
Yes. So in episode 8, and I'm not spoiling this for anybody. In episode 8, okay, Rey goes to get Luke because Leia sent her to go get Luke, and she tells Luke to his face, "Your sister sent me. She needs your help." Verbatim.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
She's talking to him while he's locked up in that room.
Yes.
In that hut. And
that's
yeah,
correct.
Right. And he's like, "Go away."
Yeah, he like basically gave his sister the double finger. Right.
Right.
And I was like, no, I'm not swallowing that. That just would never happen. Not my Luke. That's some Jake Skywalker BS. So I just felt like JJ set it up so that in 8 he would join the fight and join his sister, because why else would he be in full Jedi robes? And I feel like he sensed through the Force, this whole cut off from the Force bullshit that was all Rian Johnson's BS. He sensed through the Force that Rey was coming to get him. That's what I really do believe.
Right, and that's what I was thinking as well. Funnily enough, since you mentioned, I thought I'm the only one thinking. But I suppose everyone should have been thinking that, because that's what I felt. And
a lot of us were thinking that until we saw Rian Johnson's TLJ. So
yeah. I mean, me and Rob, since you're new here, me and Coach went to The Last Jedi. We started the channel after The Last Jedi. Hate Train started. So we've only been a channel for like three years. Yeah, 3 years. But we literally left that movie in dead silence. Like going into it, we're like hyped. I mean, we were hyped. Like
the trailer looked fantastic. If you remember,
Kevin set you up, right? Nick?
Yeah,
Kevin was
I was like,
and cinematography. Let me tell you, everybody, cinematography does not make a movie a good story. So
exactly.
FYI.
And the thing is, Star Wars has always looked good. I never had an issue with the cinematography or like there was one of our subs that made us come up with 5 things that we liked about The Last Jedi. It was hard. It was a hard list, but me and Coach came up with 5 things that we liked about the movie. Cinematography was one of them.
Users, Tron is trying to speak.
Go ahead, Tron.
I really need to go. Love you all.
All right, good seeing you, Tron.
Love you.
Love
Take
you,
care,
Tron.
buddy.
See you, mate. Catch
See you,
you, mate.
Tron.
Bye, Tron.
Oh my god, I love him so much. He's so good.
Yeah, but yeah, me and Coach literally left that movie speechless. Like literally, we looked at each other when the credits rolled, and
you mean Last Jedi?
Yeah, The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
and did not say a word. And he was like, "Don't say anything until we get to Waffle House." So we went to Waffle House and ate and discussed it. We literally out of the theater, the walk to the car, dead silence. We didn't say anything. And then once we got to Waffle House to eat, we lit into it, and we're like, "What the fuck did we just watch?
What just happened?"
Yeah,
I remember going to the theater, but I think my brain literally went into amnesia mode immediately.
Yeah,
it was almost like a self-defense mechanism.
Yeah, shortly after that, that's where we got the idea. Like let's document this thing, and so we did our documentary on the sequel trilogy, and broke it into 5 parts. We actually.
And there goes Nick.
But seriously, like I really do think that JJ, and then I just think, first of all, Colin Trevorrow was supposed to do 9, right?
Yep.
And
yeah,
he probably
I read the script for that actually, and I really liked it.
And
I really liked it too.
And he was like, he exited stage left as soon as The Last Jedi was out. He was like, "What is this? I'm out.
I gotta follow this."
Yeah, I gotta follow this. No
Luke Skywalker.
And not only that,
no
right? I think Colin Trevorrow wanted to honor the original trilogy folks, and he's like,
how does this work? Right.
Yeah. How do I do this after the Last Jedi? Yeah.
Right. And so then JJ got tapped on the shoulder, and he was dumpster fire on his lap, and he was like, "It's on fire," and he was just so mad about it that I think he just threw down on the floor.
I remember reading an article
tantrum.
where he literally said "F it." He was being interviewed about like as it was production of Rise of Skywalker or something.
Yeah.
Because again, I was just following like the news at the time. I knew I was gonna watch it, but I remember reading where JJ goes, "Oh, I'm just F it. I'm just gonna do what needs to be done," and
I'm just gonna.
I'm reading that going, well, that doesn't surprise me because
yeah, exactly. But he literally was forced to do whatever he could. And
you know where that all of that responsibility falls under
Kathleen Kennedy.
Yep.
But so there.
Oh, look at that.
We actually got
a Blu-ray.
Our documentary put on Blu-ray. Signed by me, Coach, and Doomcock. This is actually
I have one.
I don't. I want one.
Well, we still have some available, Maria. We still
Oh,
have some available.
you got to send me the link. Where's the link?
When is your LucasArts one gonna drop?
So we're still trying to get everybody together to fill out this spreadsheet that we got on games that they want to talk about.
Okay.
Once we get that finished, we're going to start scheduling the recordings. We already got the rough draft of the entire documentary done. We just got to do the recordings of the individual people that are going to be involved, and we got to cut those in to the rough draft that we have. Then we got to add graphics, we got to add music, all that sort of stuff. We already got a music guy who's doing the whole music for the entire documentary. So
who did you get?
Our Spock, one of our mods. He's
awesome.
Doing all original music for the documentary, and it's going to be
that
sort of like a video game type music, but it's going to be like
nice.
Playing in the background, so it's going to be real low. It's not going to be overpowering, So yeah, it's I'm hoping to get it all done maybe by the end of this year, but and then do like a premiere night here on the channel, like maybe mid-January.
That would be beautiful. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're shooting for. But yeah, Rob, if you just go to our main channel and just go to videos and organize by most popular, our most popular one
now. Our most popular 1 hour 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yep. Our most popular one is the one that Mark Hamill tweeted out. So Jon Favreau watched one of our videos that we did, which was a reaction video to Mando season 2, chapter 16. Then he sent our video to Mark Hamill, and then Mark Hamill watched it and retweeted it out, and we got a huge boost in numbers from that.
Nice.
So that's our most watched video, and it's almost like at 1 million views. But we did a huge stream with Star Wars Theory and Gary from Nerdrotic, Ethan Van Sciver from Comic Artist Pro Secrets, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, Ron from RK Outpost, and that's our most watched stream, and that was like 6 hours long, and we kind of talk about all this kind of stuff.
And Rob, those folks, since you come from the EFAP world of Muller, those folks, Ryan Kennel, Geeks, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, and even I think EVS, Ethan Van Sciver, have all mingled with Muller and the crew. So
and like I said, Muller is our narrator for our next documentary, and he did a great job.
Yep. Nice.
Excellent. Real quick, Alexander Studio sends in another 20 MX, which I'm not sure what MX is. Rogue One is bad mixture of dark forces. Love the Dark Forces video game. I remember when that came out. I played the crap out of it. I love Call Katarn.
Yes.
But I don't know if I'd say it's a bad mixture of dark forces. I can kind of see where you're going with that. But
Yeah.
regardless, I like Rogue One. There's some stuff in it that I did not like at all. But you know, for the most
Yeah.
The
part,
one thing,
I thought
the
Rogue
one
One
thing
was
that
okay.
I haven't seen Solo, but I saw Rogue One. The one thing Rogue One did right was the scale.
Yes.
Which is sort of, I think, what Lucas was trying to achieve in 77 Star Wars with the final Death Star attack.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep.
like, I forget the director's name, but I know he did a Godzilla movie, which again, he's trying to be faithful to the source material, right? So Rogue
Mhm.
One had that, I reckon, a very nice, straight into Episode 4 sort of moment near the end, and then just the scale.
I think you're
J.J.
right.
Abrams has no clue how to, put that together. So
It made you immersive in the story in terms of the scale perspective, because you
Yeah.
understood what was going on in the world building, and it didn't seem like it was jarring going
and
from
the
Rogue
camera
One
work
to
with all that, and
yeah, exactly. It
yeah.
didn't seem like it was jarring from Rogue One directly into Episode 4. So I totally understand where you're
And
coming
that
from.
classic redemption arc of the main female character, where
Jyn
there's no
Erso.
fancy lights. Yeah, there's no like fancy
I love
lightsaber
her.
fights and all. It's just she's just got a gun, and there's the guy
Yeah.
that, with respect to her father, and
And I gotta say,
that is really nice. Like, yeah,
as a female that I was brought into this franchise by my father, seeing that father-daughter relationship for me hit me right in the feels. I don't know if it did that for anybody else, but yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I was just that movie
Yeah.
for me
Yeah.
is pretty top notch.
yeah. For me, it's the Luke Vader, because I had a similar story like that. I'm not saying my dad is Vader, but in my own private life, like, yeah, I actually discovered Star Wars by myself. I wasn't, my folks mentioned it, but they never like sat down with me, and it's just like a self discovery, and I obviously fall in love with it, and then there's that Luke Vader moment. Believe it or not, it's because of Star Wars that I have reconciliation now with my dad and all that. So
That's awesome. I love hearing
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yep.
Yeah, my dad got me into Star Wars at a very young age. I was like 3,
Mhm.
like, I mean, young. And I mean, they were buying me all the Kenner Star Wars toys. Like, I grew up with all that, but of course, also like Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats. Like, man, I love everything 80s. It was such a great time. If I could go back. We're coming up on 3 hours. I want to get everybody's quick take on expectations for Kenobi episode 5. Is it gonna be good?
You
Is
mean
it
episode
gonna-
6?
Episode 6.
Oh yeah,
Episode
Yeah,
6.
yeah,
The last
yeah.
episode.
6.
The quote unquote last episode.
Yeah, last episode was episode. I still got episode 5 rant hate in my mind from last.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do.
Yeah, episode.
I'm not
6.
I'm going to say this right now. I don't expect anything good out of it.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm pretty.
Well,
much
apparently
so.
Reva's gonna meet Luke.
Yeah,
And
is he
yeah.
gonna see a lightsaber, and then Obi-Wan and A New Hope's gonna be like, "This is your father's
That's a good
lightsaber,"
point.
and
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh,
I will
lightsaber."
I will say there's I know we talked about continuity earlier in terms of the EU and everything. Disney is having a hard time keeping up with its own continuity issues,
Yeah.
and it's going to anger its own fans. And I'm just going to say this: I have no really good vibes coming from any of this, regardless of how it ends, because it's not gonna end well in terms of continuity. It's gonna add more questions and more issues and more confusion. And to be quite honest, you don't want your fan base to be confused. Just FYI.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of in the same boat.
If there's no where Obi-Wan, puts Darth Vader in his place, which he shouldn't be, because that will contradict episode 4. But when Darth Vader says, "I was the learner, now I'm the master," So if was the fight in the third episode or second episode when
I think it was I think the third.
The first one,
Okay.
yeah, it was the third, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if that was the only encounter that they have in this whole show, like if they don't have another one in the last episode, now you have another massive contradiction. Now you have a genuine contradiction between episode 4 and Kenobi.
And not only that, but Obi-Wan is not communing with Qui-Gon in the Force to be stronger.
Yeah, what? Like,
so it doesn't make any sense.
We should have seen Force Ghost Qui-Gon the second episode.
Or at least after the fight, episode 3, right?
Yeah, at least then. Yeah.
Oh,
not the last episode for a member berry jangling of the shiny keys moment of nostalgia. Like, oh look, hey, remember here's Qui-Gon, guys.
And maybe they'll use
last episode.
Maybe they'll do like a season 2 to sort of like justify all these, But then that's the dangling thing as you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
If they do.
And not only that, but you're going to lose your audience even more because after this point, people are expecting to see Qui-Gon this season. And it's just FYI, and I'm talking as to general audience people. They're expecting certain types of people to be in this certain type of series. And when they don't see that, they're not going to invest in a second season or a third or a fourth or whatever going forward. That's just how it is. I'm just saying.
Well, I firmly believe that there's going to be a second season.
I agree with you, but I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna generate the interest that they're hoping for.
Nope.
Yeah. I don't. It's just.
I think from an accounting perspective, I think they're completely and utterly dumb about it. But that's just me.
And the thing is, we don't know what the numbers are. I mean, is this what? Is
they won't. They won't.
How much money are they making on this?
They won't. They won't reveal that, Nick. You know that.
Yeah, it's Disney Plus. They don't show you any numbers. They can stay out of the box office, and they can just paint whatever narrative they want to. But Dengar Renegade says, Nick, can you take over Lucasfilm and fix things? This is never going to happen. But if they let me take over Lucasfilm, I would fire probably 90% of everybody there. And it would literally be like 1 year of rehiring people, getting the right
and bring back all the 90s and early 2000s folk that made this, bring them on.
I would literally be like, there's going to be no Star Wars content for at least 3 years, guys. So
that's right.
So just
reset.
You might have to wait. You might have to wait 5 years to just kind of let all this ilk, drain out of the system.
Yeah, seriously, there would be.
It's like a detox.
I would. First thing I would do is I would fire 90% of the people there, because there are some good people at Lucasfilm, and I would definitely keep those people there.
Definitely no blue titty milk. Excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. Second thing, I would make a public apology on behalf of Lucasfilm for the attack on the fans. I would rehire Gina Carano to come back and be involved in the Star Wars universe. And some of the stuff I would keep. The Mandalorian, I would keep going. I would probably get other people maybe involved in it to make it even better than it is right now, which I don't think The Mandalorian is great, but I think it's good. But I would bring other people to get involved in that show possibly. And I would say that I would definitely bring in The World Between Worlds and put the sequel trilogy in a separate time frame from the OT and anything that's going to move beyond it. So you would still have it. And for the people that liked it, it would still exist and it would still be canon. It would just be canon in a different timeline. Because, you can't get rid of it at this point. As much as I'd like to just be like, boom, it doesn't exist. No, it does exist.
Well, the thing about the World Between Worlds, though, is it's just a time. It's a time changer, but not a universe changer.
Well, I would fix that, and I would make it a universe changer because I would be in charge.
So you're going to bring the multiverse to Star Wars. I think that would be very problematic.
I would
Mm.
the thing is, anything to get rid of moving towards the sequel trilogy, whatever that consisted of, I would
just
do
move
it.
forward.
Yeah, but
I think what
forward.
Nick is trying to. I think what Nick is trying to saying. Let the sequel trilogy exist as is and have a separate timeline
yeah,
altogether.
there would be no.
Yeah.
Luke and Luke. I would bring Mara Jade in. There would
Me
be no.
too.
There would be no
Love her.
Kylo Ren. Han and Leia would be married, and things would be good, and they would have the twins.
Here's a crucial question: would you still go along with Chewie's death by the planet crashing?
No, I would not do that.
So that's the only little slight change you would.
Yeah,
from the expanded universe.
Chewie's still there.
Yeah.
Chewie's still there.
Yeah,
You gotta leave Chewie in there. So yeah, I would make so many different changes. And the thing is, I think for the most part, people would probably be on board with it. Now, I'm not a creative, so I would leave that up to the creatives. But if I would definitely give my feedback if there was some stuff that they're coming up with, and I was like, all right, can you explain this to me? Like, this doesn't make sense. Once they explained it, I'd be like, okay, well, can you at least put at least one sentence in the show or the entertainment to explain that? You know, tell the audience this. You know, don't leave them questioning, like, this doesn't make sense. Why is this happening? Like literally just put a sentence, something to kind of explain some of this stuff. So yeah, there would be a lot of major changes. And I would 100% bring Maria in on board as well at Lucasfilm.
Well, I do the video game side.
And Max would be the Lucasfilm accountant.
Another observation I have for the last episode for Kenobi is whether Darth Vader finds out that he has a son or not. Because
They
episode
can't do
5, I don't like Lucas's subtle change, where he changed the Emperor's discussion. Like
Oh,
you saw
yeah,
in the Disney version where the Emperor reminds Darth Vader, like, use your feelings. I have no doubt that this boy that destroyed the Death Star is your son. Yeah. Like, and he's like, how is that possible? Whereas the original story that everyone saw has the Emperor totally hoodwinked. Darth Vader knows the secret. He knows this guy that the Emperor's talking about is his son. So I want to see now if the Kenobi show will go that direction. Which, like, in other words, if they're competent writers and if they're being faithful to, well,
competent is a key term here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're kind of in a corner because I want to see which way they go. Do they go with the original perception that Darth Vader knew, or that Darth Vader doesn't know, but the Emperor reminds him in Episode 5 based on that change? So yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see how they wrap the series up. We will be live before it drops, and then of course our full reaction will be up on our Patreon, and then I'll edit edited version for the channel here, so you guys will be able to kind of see our reactions to the episode, and of course our review will be up immediately after as well. Real quick, Alexander Studio sends in another Mexican peso. Maria told me in private chat that's what that is. Jar Jar saying that's all, folks. Yeah. Rendar Destin with a $5 super chat. Sequel trilogy alternate timeline with Mandoverse leads to new sequel trilogy with Ahsoka, Rebels characters, and Mandoverse characters involved. I like it, and that's
I don't know. I'm in favor of just moving forward. Let's
but if you move forward, how can you move forward with the death of Han Solo, Luke being a grumpy old, like, I would want to get rid of all that to where Luke's not that
Luke's dead,
Han
Leia's
doesn't
dead,
die.
Han's dead, everyone's dead.
Yeah. Well, not everyone, but I strongly feel like you could move forward, and if you want to put it in an alternate timeline, that's fine. But I'm just talking about like bringing in, like, but if we lead into a new trilogy, that like they were saying, who was that? I'm sorry, I'm looking at the chat. Oh, there we go. Ryder was saying, right? So
Yeah.
Ahsoka would be so old if we put her in a new trilogy. I mean, where would we put that? Where in the timeline would we put this new trilogy? I mean, basically, by the time of the sequel trilogy, she's in her 70s. If she was alive, she's not.
She probably wouldn't be alive during the sequel trilogy time frame. But Grogu would be.
Yes.
Grogu would be. Mando would be old.
If not dead, right?
If not
so
dead, yeah.
So
Same thing with
I'm just like, let's just move forward. Let's just leave, let's go 100 years in the future.
You mean are you talking about like that Star Wars game that I think it was Star Wars 1313 or something, where it's just a completely brand new story?
God, I cannot believe I can't believe they trashed that game.
It was the underworld, right? But no, I mean, like, take the story where it is now. You take everything that comes with it, because I feel like you can write, good writers can write their way out of stuff.
Yeah,
and I feel like if we were to keep it all the same and then just move 100 years in the future, 200 years in the future, and start there, like if we were taking over Lucasfilm,
all new characters, all new, everything.
Yes, and it could be Leia's great granddaughter.
I would say, to be quite honest, is to stay away from the Skywalkers in general, because just kind of create new characters without the Skywalker name.
Yeah, but then you're not continuing the Skywalker saga.
The problem is the fact that they tried to do that, and in my opinion they did a piss poor job on it. So they need to move away from that and maybe decide to create their own characters and create new stories within it without having to rely on the Skywalkers. If they can't do that, then that tells me right there that they're not creatives.
Basically, you're saying a Kyle Katarn like story.
Exactly.
It has no connection to.
Exactly. And to be quite honest, I'm more interested in that, because at this point they've already left a sour taste in my mouth for the Skywalkers. So I don't want to have anything to do with that.
See, and the thing is, I would, if I was in charge, I would cancel all that stuff, and I would redo it to kind of for the fans. I would redo it for the fans.
And I agree with Nick's. I agree with Nick's point. I don't want to continue with the sequel trilogy. That's out of the wind. That's out of the cat. That would be out of the situation. Yes.
I would literally do another sequel trilogy. With whether it be deep fake, whatever, to have the original cast back on screen together and give the fans something that they wanted from the get-go. And then after that, then I would move on to other characters. During that time, I would be developing that stuff.
Okay with that.
But I would 100% do something to fix everything for the fans and put the original cast back in the spotlight. Whether it be, like I said, with deep fake technology or whatever, and give a competent story that takes place after Return of the Jedi, to where it doesn't, end up like the sequel trilogy. Maybe it ends up happening, 10 years after, not when, Luke and Han and Leia are old.
And I'm fine with that. It's just they can't continue with what they have, because there's nothing to continue with,
right? So it's assuming we take over, number one.
That's assuming, yes. But at the same time, if they're going to continue with the stories that they have now, it seems like they're being repetitive with their stories, and you can tell it's not good.
Agree. That's why we would fire them, right, Nick?
Yeah, 100%. They would all be gone. Like I would literally get like Timothy Zahn in there to be a writer. I would get oh god, I'm having a brain fart.
I gotta say, Tony Gilroy.
I would bring in Vince Gilligan and the entire Breaking Bad Better Call Saul writing team in. I would be like, give us a drama based
version of Star Wars.
Star Wars movie, with characters with with the spice trades, something,
Yeah.
like come in and give us a awesome story in the Star Wars universe.
Also, the writer for Empire, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
didn't he write for Jedi and Empire as well? And
You're talking
Rise
about
as-
Larry Kasdan?
Lawrence
Yes.
Kasdan.
Didn't he also
Yeah,
write
he
for
wrote the sequel
Force
trilogy,
Awakens?
honey. Yes.
Yeah, he was
But he didn't
involved in
write
that.
for Last Jedi
No.
and right.
No,
for
that
the-
was
Hey,
Ron
hey,
Johnson.
And then I think he did write for episode 9.
Yeah, first the Rise of
whenever
Skywalker. Yeah.
he was writing wherever because him and JJ have worked on the Star Trek stuff together.
Yeah.
So when JJ is concerned, he was writing when JJ was concerned.
I actually tweeted at Vince Gilligan and everybody in that writing team on Twitter like last week and said and actually tagged Star Wars in it also and said hire these people to write for Star Wars.
I am all there. That's what
Hire
we'll do,
these
Nick.
people.
You and me.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, I'd be totally on board with that. I'm not lying.
That's it. Let's start a GoFundMe. Everybody's gonna
Yeah.
fund us to buy the $4 billion.
Actually, yeah. I would love to see that. Love to see that.
Yes.
But anyways, guys, we are about to wrap up here. I want to thank Maria and Mags and Rob for jumping in here and everybody else that jumped in here earlier. Brandon and Mama Bear and Tron. Thank you for everybody in chat. And Coach normally does this, and normally runs this thing. But for everybody that sent in super chats, this super chat video is for you. We appreciate your support and thank you. And also one other quick funny video that we showed last night. If you guys didn't see it, we put this together for last night's stream, for our Saturday night stream, which Rob, we stream every Saturday night from 7 Central Time. I'm not sure what time that is. But every single Saturday night, me and Coach are on here live. We have special guests, or sometimes we just run it by ourselves. But we put this together for last night's show. And this is just a little funny clip about the Kenobi show. So here it is.
Daddy, is it really you?
Yes, my dear. I guarantee it. Would I lie?
Daddy. Oh, no, Vesper, don't, Ah! No. Oh.
Fooled you. Fooled you.
That's perfect. I love it.
But while we were talking about Kenobi, I was like, that's what it feels like. It feels like a lot of people
I feel like
fooled.
vomiting, to be honest. Yeah.
It just feels like a lot of people got fooled, going
It's
into
a bait
the
and
show.
switch. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like that's exactly what the Rise of Skywalker was.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah,
how do you
for
call
sure,
it the Rise
for
of
sure.
Skywalker and then kill off the last Skywalker?
And also,
And then
also the only
Rey
Palpatine survives.
Skywalker.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ray Palpatine. Well, I'm a Skywalker. No, you're not, bitch. Oh, so bad. So bad. Be glad and happy that you have not seen that movie, Rob.
Yes.
I
You have been spared.
Yeah.
I've only seen the after spoilers, in the reviews, and I you can well imagine I was horrified seeing that stuff, even though I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah. We cover it.
That's a lot of people, Rob. That's a lot of people.
We cover it in our documentary quite well. And Robert Meyer Burnett in our part 5 section of that documentary makes some excellent points. In Mauler, we actually end the documentary with a clip from Mauler on it. So
I'm really gonna check it out right now. Yeah.
But thank you everybody for being here tonight. Stay tuned for stuff that me and Coach are gonna be doing this week with the final episode of Kenobi dropping. we'll finally see where this thing ends. I'm sure everybody is going to have a lot to say about it. But regardless, whether it's bad, whether it's good, we're going to have fun anyways, just hanging out with all you guys, talking about it, and moving into the Andor series, which I think is a little bit more promising with the writing team that they got involved in that show. So I'm actually very curious and interested in that film series that they're doing, and I hope that it kind of brings back some Star Wars greatness. But only time will tell. We'll see what happens. As Coach always says, you are Echo Base Network. And until the next one, we will see you guys later.
Take out care